Check 1, 2. Hey, everybody. Welcome into the Rant. I'm Pugs Moran. We do this every day, Monday through Friday, round about noon here from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E Gallery in Dallas's fantastic design district. Welcome. Welcome to the Wednesday show. What is this show? Well, I sit down here every day, round about this time, with my cool-ass American flag and eagle. I got an eagle today. Yeah, I found one with an eagle. I like it. I sit here and I tell you everything that's happening in the world. I try to do a form of talk radio that I just don't hear anymore. It's the kind I grew up in, the kind of talk radio I started doing in 1992. What do I mean by that? I mean everything but politics. Who the hell cares about the politics? So that's what we try and do here every day. I perform this show all by my lonesome. It's just me. Just me, all by myself, nobody to talk to. So I perform it as a stream of consciousness, which is a stream of consciousness is just a guy talking without interrupting himself, without filter, without any kind of governor, just whatever's next in my head, I say. It's a dangerous way to live. Unless you're not an asshole. Say, I'm not an asshole, so I'm not really all that worried about what I might accidentally say, because I try to be decent. Stream of consciousnesses are hard to perform unless you have some kind of structure. So I've created 4 quarters. So this show is going to play out for you in 4 quarters. It's going to be all about current events, all about lifestyle stuff, all about everything that's not politics. Although, there are headlines we'll mention that might, you might go, I'm triggered because everything in my life is politics. If that's you, you shouldn't be here. It's not the kind of people we want to be around. Like, I have a criteria for people that I want listening, and more specifically, the people I don't want listening. Like, I don't know what I don't know about the people I want listening. Does that make sense? What I mean is there's all kinds of, I do know specifically the people who I could care less if they listen to this or tune in or hang out in our chat room. Those people are, a class of people that are no longer invited to their family Thanksgivings. That's right. If you're no longer invited to your family's Thanksgiving, I don't want you around here. If they don't want you, I don't want you. Go kick rocks. You're trouble. Have you been arrested in a Target because you just couldn't shop without being triggered by some display? Huh? That's you. I don't want you here. I don't want you here. Have you ever been in handcuffs in the back of a police car in the parking lot of a Target, a Walmart, whatever? I don't want you listening. You're not welcome. And thirdly, if you've ever been ejected from an airplane and gone viral because of something that was going on that you just had to turn it all about yourself and delay everybody's trip, you are not allowed to listen to this show. And by the way, a couple of the things that we're going to be talking about today, we can add another category to that. If you've ever been ejected from a Mavericks game for fighting with Mark Cuban, you're not allowed to listen to this show. I'm sorry. You can't behave yourself. You're a fool. We'll get into that. I know there's a couple of sides to that. We're going to talk all about the Mavericks mess. A lot of stuff erupted last night. A lot of good video we're going to watch. What else do we have? Well, basically everything. And basically everything fun that there is out there to talk about. We're going to get to that. And as I say, we do it in 4 quarters. First quarter is going to be antecedently on this day, right? That's the first thing I do. I talk about the history of today. We go through the history, not all of it, some of it, interesting things. I riff on it. We move on. Quarter 2, birthdays. Birthdays, celebrities. That stupid thing you've heard 5 times today already if you listen and watch morning news and radio. Yeah, they all do it. I do it differently. Join us. I decide whether or not we like this person. Do we say happy birthday to this person, or we tell them to go kick rocks? That's how I do it. Quarter 2. Quarter 3 is deads. Same thing as quarter 2, births, except the opposite. 180 degrees from what we're celebrating there. These are people who died, notable quotables, historical figures, celebrities, people who died on this day throughout history. Where'd they go? Heaven? Where'd they go to hell? We talk about it. Where do we think they went based on what we know about their life? And then quarter 4 is everything else. And let's see. Let's run through some of the things we're going to get into in the everything else section. I already told you about the Mav stuff. I want to get into that. That's going to be fun. People can't behave themselves. All right, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about all of the renaming of things that we got going on. We're going to get into that. You see if Google has updated the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America, and that is hysterical. But it's there. It says it, so let's go with it. No word yet on McKinley, Mount McKinley. They were gonna, I guess the Indians for like 3,000 years called it Denali, but you know we started calling it McKinley in like 1970, and now we're all butthurt because it got changed back to Denali. Anyway, I want to see if they changed that. And there's a bunch of other things that are happening, little changes, little fun populist changes that we can go through. So we'll get into that. If you're a tunaman, I don't know what a tunaman is. I'm a tunaman. I love tuna. I'm a big tuna fan. Tuna recall! Oh my God. Heads up on that one. We'll talk about what's going on with your tuna. See if you got any tuna you got to throw in the trash. And then a whole bunch of like local Texas stuff. You know, we've got blowback now from the Kanye situation. We've got Mav stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about Patrick Dumont and Mark Cuban, two people. Patrick Dumont, the current. Is it Dumont? Is that his name? Wait a second. That doesn't sound Patrick Dumont. All right, whatever. We'll talk about him. Whole bunch of stuff. We got everything that's happening in the world. We're going to get into a little bit if I find it's important to us here on this show. Okay, so if you're ready, what do you say we get started? It is The Rant. I am Pugs Moran. We do it every day right here, noon, from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios. Did you know it's the 12th day of the year 2025? Boom! 12th day of the month, year 2025. It's February 12th, people. I don't know why I try to get fancy. It's February 12th. February 12th is the 43rd day of the year. There's 322 remaining until the end of the year. All right, let's get into quarter one. Oh, no, wait, before we get into quarter one. That's right, I got to mention this. This show, thank you so much, runs with no advertising, no nothing, just you and your tips. I say treat me like I'm your bartender. Treat me like I'm your valet parker, whatever. If you hang out for a couple of hours and you enjoy the chat room and the whole scene that we've built here for 3 years now. We've been doing this for 3 years. So if you're new, don't worry about it. We ain't going anywhere. I know it gets tough. And I'm like, I'm going to stop doing this. But as I say, you people are my therapy. This is this helps me to do this. So I'm going to keep trying to do it as long as I can. But if you're new, that's how the show runs. No advertising, no nothing. So I like to get tipped. So you can drop a tip. And the big tipper of the day, and that's a nonsense. We don't get tips every day. But when we do, we like to call that person the executive producer. And today we got Peter. Peter's like tipping for like 10 of you. There's like 10 of you who never tip. And then there's Peter who tips like every other day. Peter, Barney, Frank. Yeah, Barney and Frank are the guy. Barney and Frank do the little amounts. But that's good because I'd like more people to follow suit. Give me $2. Buy me a cup of coffee every day. What the fuck? Anyway, thank you to Peter. Peter was our executive producer today. Let's see if we'll have one tomorrow. I sure hope we do. All right, let's get started. Let's do quarter one. Antecedently on this day. That's where we take a look back at all the events that have helped shape this day. Not a whole lot today. I'm going to get more selective in the first 3 quarters because I feel like that goes too long and we don't really get the time that I want to spend chopping it up on current events and different things going on in our lives. But whatever, we're going to keep doing it. And today's a good, nice little bite-sized antecedently on this day. Year 1733. It's Georgia Day, everybody. Welcome to the party, Georgia. 1773, on this day, Englishman John Oglethorpe founds Georgia, the 13th colony of the original 13 colonies. Georgia Day! All right, now, what do I think about Georgia? This is what I like to do whenever we commemorate a big birthday for a state or something. I like to give my little, what do I think about Georgia? Do I know anybody from Georgia? I think I know 2 people from Georgia. I know one guy who lives in Georgia. Do you know that I've never been to Atlanta? Do you know, as I think about it, I've never been to Georgia, I don't think. I don't think I've ever been to Georgia. Was Dukes of Hazzard in Georgia? There we go. That's my tribute to Georgia. Welcome to the party. On this day in 1733, they became our 13th colony. Antecedently, on this day, year of our Lord, lost my place. Year of our Lord, 1963. That's right. That's how lame of a day February the 12th is. Georgia was made a state in 1733, and then no other world event caught my attention until 1963. Construction begins on the Gateway Arch in St. Louis, Missouri. Ah, boy. Look, I'm from Chicago, right? We got Milwaukee to our north. Milwaukee's like our little brother who we like. We like Milwaukee. Milwaukee's our little brother. If you're Chicago, you're like, Milwaukee's cool. Milwaukee's our cool little brother. But then we got like our inbred shit hillbilly cousins down there in St. Louis, okay? I don't like St. Louis. Never have. My son's mother comes from there. My son has grandparents there. And if you got to live in St. Louis, the area they live is the Illinois side. So there you go. They're okay. They're okay on that side. But St. Louis, the Gateway Arch, on this day, 1963. I guess I'd never thought about that before because the Gateway Arch had always been there. And my whole life growing up, the Gateway Arch is there. I don't know when I thought that thing was built. I'm like 1963. Okay. You mean it wasn't built in like 1850 for the 18? I thought it was like a lot older. It's not 1963. Here's the other thing about the Gateway Arch. Not impressive. It is like the least impressive civic brand monument that I think there is in this country. It's terrible. It's just like a big white. What else about the arch? What else? Do I got anything else? Nope, nothing. Moving on. Big letdown. I'll leave you with this. I've seen structures that were more awe-inspiring at Six Flags than standing at the base of the St. Louis Arch. Okay? There you go. Antecedently on this day in the year 2004, the city of San Francisco begins issuing marriage license. I don't know why I said it like that. Gay marriage legal, San Francisco, on this day in 2004. Directive and executive order from Mayor Gavin Newsom. Hey, whatever happened to that guy? Antecedently on this day in the year 2009, Colgan Air Flight 3407 crashes into a house in Clarence Center, New York, while on approach to Buffalo Niagara Airport. Now, I know I don't do plane crashes, but I do the ones that I remember. Like the ones that I remember this. Do you remember this? This is a commuter plane. There was like 60, 70 people on board. I think the issue turned out it was pilot error. The pilot was an idiot. The pilot was like a brand new pilot. And, you know, in the wake of this incident, there were all kinds of talk about these regional air carriers hiring pilots who don't have the air miles to, you know, qualify for these kinds of commercial flights. Anyway, this plane took off in New Jersey. It was like in Newark, New Jersey to Buffalo, New York, a little regional kind of. But a jet, I mean, it was a jet. It was exactly the same kind of plane that crashed in Washington, D.C. last week. So like a commuter commercial airplane with like 100 and some seats. This thing was like 4 miles from the airport in Buffalo when icing started to cause a problem. There was snow and it was icing, and the pilot didn't de-ice correctly and then failed to communicate with the co-pilot. The co-pilot was doing shit that the pilot didn't know about. This plane, it was 4 miles outside of the airport. This plane just nose-dived because it went into a stall. It went into a stall because of the ice, okay? The flaps weren't working, so the plane began to stall. So in order to pull it out of the stall, the pilot pulled back on the stick, but the problem was the pilot's nose wasn't angled down, like to pick up speed so that he could actually, you know, thrust and pick up speed and restart the engine. He was up, his nose was up, so the plane completely stalled, crashed directly into a home on a block. This isn't a rural home. This plane crashed into a home in a neighborhood, a little like ranch house, single family, working class neighborhood outside of Buffalo, crashed directly into the house. Houses on either side were not affected. This plane hit directly into a house. Now, what makes it even worse is that behind this house, the backyard of this entire block, was a gigantic field, like 50 football fields size open grass area, where if this plane had just crashed there, instead it landed 10 feet away from where it should have, and it killed a dude sitting on a recliner watching TV. Dude came home from work, sat in his recliner in his house, and at 9:15 at night, a plane crashed into his house. Holy cow, guys. The fragility of life. Let's never forget that. Let's do some birthdays. Hey, hey, blah. They say it's their birthday. Blah. I don't know if it's really their birthdays. They claim it is. So let's just go with that. Born on this day in 1809. Oh, here's a couple of big ones. This is a big one, right? We like to do the umbilical cousins. The umbilical cousins are people born, celebrities, born on the exact same day, the exact same year. But, they're not really related. All right, so here we got two umbilical cousins. Okay, born on this day in 1809, Charles Darwin, pretty big one in the science game. Charles Darwin and Abraham Lincoln, pretty big one in the president's game. Happy birthday to both of them. I don't know. I love Lincoln. Lincoln's my second favorite president. I love Lincoln, but Darwin, I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't know much about Darwin. Monkeys, right? We come from monkeys because of Darwin. Okay, I'll buy that. That tracks. Born on this day, year 1915. How about Lorne Greene? You guys remember Lorne Greene? Lorne Greene, apparently, before I was born and aware of stuff, he was a cowboy actor. He was like in a cowboy show on TV, and everybody knew him from that. He was a big, massive star in the 1960s. Don't know what it was. Bonanza, Gunsmoke, Big Valley, not sure. One of those. Lorne Greene. I know Lorne Greene because later in his life in the 1970s, he did Alpo commercials and I Like Dogs. Remember Lorne? I'm Lorne Greene. I like dogs. Do you like dogs? Feed dogs when I feed dogs. Alpo. That was the whole commercial, basically. He was also a Dama in the original Battlestar Galactica. Happy birthday, Lorne Greene. You're cool. I got no issues with Lorne Greene. Born on this day in 1915. Born on this day in 1956. How about Arsenio Hall? Arsenio Hall! Whoo! Deal with the devil. 5 years at the top, and then poof, he gone. Arsenio Hall was like a clubber. He was like a clubber, a term for a comic who back in the 70s and 80s, and they would pop up on TV, but they never really... you'd see him, they'd come on and be like, oh, I know that guy. I've seen this guy before, but you never remembered his name or anything. Then he became friends at the right time with Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy, who was also a comic who he became friends with, became a massive star. And because Eddie Murphy became a massive star, Eddie started bringing his friends along, and he brought Arsenio along. And before you know it, Arsenio had a hot talk show. And when I say hot, I mean really hot. The Arsenio Hall show was a ratings juggernaut out of the box. And then everybody got tired of it. We're like, yeah, he's not that great. So he's not going to have Eddie Murphy on every night. That's not part of the deal. Some nights it's just going to be Arsenio. Who's his guest? Kenny G and Donna Dixon? Nah, I'm going to pass. And that's what happened. And Arsenio Hall hasn't really worked since. When was the last time you saw Arsenio Hall anywhere? Arsenio Hall, born on this day, 1956. Born on this day in 1963. Here's a dude. This is one of my favorite comedic actors. I think he is, as far as the deadpan actor goes, there ain't nobody better working today than this guy. He is so funny. He is one of the few people. There are certain people. Bill Hader does this. Will Ferrell does this. Bill Murray does this. Chris Elliott famously does this. These are people who have the power over me to just enter a scene, a sketch scene, a comedy scene, whatever. They have the power to just enter a scene. Belushi had this. They just enter the scene, and it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing, and they don't even have to say a word. You are already on the verge of laughter because you know Bill Murray's going to say something funny here. You know Chris Elliott's going to do something absurd here. So I love those guys. This is one of those guys. Happy birthday, ladies and gentlemen, to the great John Michael Higgins. You guys know this guy? Look at him. John Michael Higgins, comic actor, okay? Usually plays very straight, very deadpan roles, and he says absolutely absurd things in a completely straight and completely deadpan way. He was great in Arrested Development. He was great in a show called Kath and Kim. He's been great in all the Christopher Guest movies, Best in Show, all of them. Very funny. He plays the gay guy in Best in Show. You know in Best in Show, the movie about dog shows, which, by the way, dog shows are in the news today. We got breaking news on the Westminster Dog Show. He played like the super gay dog show owner guy who was married to Michael McKean, Lenny from Lenny and Squeak. Oh, he's so funny. But you guys may not know that he is also, and before he became this iconic and brilliant comedic actor, John Michael Higgins, he's our birthday boy. John Michael Higgins was in a movie in the mid-90s. I think it came out, it was an HBO film around 97, 98. And it's one of my favorite films ever made about the entertainment industry. You've got to like that genre, right? Like you've got to like the genre of things that show you how Hollywood really works. So I do. The Late Shift. Have you guys ever heard of the film The Late Shift? It was a made-for-HBO film from the mid-1990s. You can probably still find it. And if you haven't and you like this genre, you need to watch it because it's the best thing ever. The Late Shift documents the story of David Letterman leaving NBC for CBS in the war between Letterman and Leno and how that turned Hollywood upside down and how everybody was taking sides. Brilliant show. Brilliant film. So fun. The Late Shift. Anyway, John Michael Higgins, our birthday boy here, he played David Letterman in a dramatic role. We're used to seeing John Michael Higgins do comedy. No, he was playing it straight. I mean, Letterman is a funny guy, right? So he's a comedian. But this is not, doing bits. This was David Letterman in real life. And he was absolutely brilliant. Let's watch a little of this from Late Shift. John Michael Higgins, one of my favorite comedic actors of all time, playing a dramatic role as David Letterman, and he nails it. He nails it. I was a diehard Letterman fan, and I didn't know who John Michael Higgins was from anybody back in 1996, 1997. But I'll tell you, I watched this and I went, holy shit, did that guy nail Letterman? So here it is. Here's the context. This is our birthday boy, John Michael Higgins, hanging out in Malibu. He has just left NBC because they refused to give him the Tonight Show. They've given it to Jay Leno. Letterman has left NBC. He doesn't know what he's going to do with his life. And he is on the beach in Malibu talking with Peter LaSalle. Peter LaSalle is the executive producer for Johnny Carson and the Tonight Show. He no longer is working either. He's asking advice from Peter LaSalle. And then they have a meeting with Mike Ovitz. I don't know what you know about Mike Ovitz. Mike Ovitz is historically and legendarily one of the most powerful super agents. The term super agent was created for Mike Ovitz, one of the most powerful super agents in Hollywood history. So check this out. This is our birthday boy, John Michael Higgins, as David Letterman from the HBO film from the 90s, The Late Shift.
Getting an agent?
Oh, yeah.
Now, don't reject the idea out of hand. I know how you feel about agents. But we need somebody with some power in the business.
Yeah, I know, but Jesus, an agent? I mean, an agent's what you pull off the bottom of your shoe after a baseball game. I mean, they're just going to book me in Tahoe with Tony Orlando and Dawn.
Listen, David, I have an idea.
David.
Hey.
Peter. Mike Ovitz.
Hello.
Please come in. It's wonderful to have you here.
Well, thank you.
Please. David, I don't know if you remember this, but years ago when you were with William Morris and I was still an agent there, we actually met very briefly.
Geez, I can't believe you remembered that.
What I remember is you were the funniest guy in the room. In fact, I don't think we got much accomplished that day.
Michael, maybe we should tell you a little bit about David's circumstance.
Peter, I know Dave's circumstances. And so I know why you're here. Dave is a star of such compelling stature that, frankly, it makes me personally angry he finds himself this abused. We pride ourselves here at CAA in developing a career plan for our clients that protects them as much as it enriches them. David has set such an incredibly high professional standard, and yet he is going disturbingly unrewarded. That just doesn't make sense. It's simply bad business practice. Obviously, we have an intense interest in establishing a business relationship with you, Dave, and with you, Peter. Frankly, we have worked out a career plan for David, and it includes securing everything for Dave that he wants. Everything. Of course, that means an 11:30 television show. Dave will be offered an 11:30 show, and he will be offered it by every network. The geometry of the deal will be far larger. The studios will be in, the syndicators, the full range of the entertainment industry. We shall frame a deal that will make you one of the giants. And if you give us the privilege of working with you, CAA will take care of everything your talents deserve and your spirit.
There you go, the late shift. Happy birthday, John Michael Higgins. Memorable performances. David Letterman, of course, Michael Ovitz would famously deliver on all of those promises, bringing CBS to the table, and at the time, what would have been the largest network deal in history. John Michael Higgins, one of my favorite, born on this day, year of our Lord, 1963. Born on this day in 1968. How about Josh Brolin? Josh Brolin. Thanos. He's like, to my son, to my 15-year-old son, like, I think Josh Brolin. I'm like, oh, yeah, James Brolin's kid. Right? That's what I still think. My kid thinks Josh Brolin is like one of the biggest stars in the world. And if a 15-year-old says that, then it's true. He is. If a 15-year-old says, happy birthday, Josh Brolin. Born on this day in 1968. Also born on this day in 1968. She was the hot one, if you remember. You guys remember Wilson Phillips? Remember the band Wilson? They're pretty music, soccer mom music from 1989, that kind of thing. Wilson Phillips was a supergroup comprised of the daughters of Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys and China Phillips, who is the daughter of John Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas. So Wilson Phillips was a mashup of the Mamas and the Papas and the Beach Boys, and they just like the Mamas and what are the Mamas and the Papas known for, and what are the Beach Boys known for? Harmonies. And holy crap, they were very good. Wilson Phillips had beautiful harmonies. China Phillips is celebrating a birthday today. China, she was the hot one. And she was really hot. Like, she was different hot. Like, you remember the first time you saw that video and you were like, she's got really short hair. She was the first, like, China Phillips, like, even before Demi Moore. Remember when Demi Moore cut her hair real short for Ghost? Nah, that was after China Phillips. From Wilson Phillips. She had that really short haircut. Have you seen China Phillips lately? She's like 60 and she's still gorgeous. She's like 60. Well, how old is she? She's like 60. No, she's not. All right. So apparently today she's 57. She's 57. She's still beautiful. Still beautiful. She does. I talked about her a couple of years ago, I think, at this point, because I had fallen into a YouTube hole where I discovered China Phillips' YouTube channel. And the reason I was watching it was because there was this real interesting clip of her with her mother, Michelle Phillips. And they're sitting on like their back porch. And China Phillips is just grilling Michelle Phillips about what a bad mom she was and like the things that they did back then. And it was very funny. And I thought, that's cool. This is like mom and daughter. They're obviously best friends. They're like busting each other's balls about the way shit was back then. China Phillips, I like her. She's married to the most normal Baldwin. She's married to Billy Baldwin. Billy Baldwin seems to be the most normal, if that's even a thing, if there is a normal Baldwin. He's like the normal one. She's super religious though. She's super Jesus-y. China Phillips is like born again, super Jesus-y. Anyway, happy birthday. Born on this day, 1968. Still beautiful. Funny YouTube videos with her mom. China Phillips, born on this day in 68. Born on this day in 1980, Christina Ricci. I got a weird thing with Christina Ricci. Like, every time I look at her, I still think she's 10. And she's not that. She's like totally within the range that I could date naturally. She's 46 years old. I could date a 46-year-old woman. Yet in my head, I'd be like, I'm dating a child because Christina Ricci was famous as a child. Anyway, Christina Ricci. Not that I'd want it. She's not my type. She's my friend Tom's type. My friend Tom was nuts about Christina Ricci. I'm like, really? That's the hottest. You think Christina Ricci is like the hottest chick in Hollywood? Oh man, by far. You're nuts. Or maybe possibly gay. I don't know. Christina Ricci, happy birthday. A fine-looking woman, huh? Fine-looking woman. But hottest? Really, Tom? Born on this day in 1980. 80. Born on this day in 1990. Happy birthday to, what could have been, but unfortunately never was. Robert Griffin III, RG3. Oh, the injuries. RG3, football player. Now he's a shit talker on Twitter. I guess that's the natural progression. All right, that's going to do it, folks. 1, 2, 3 quarters are in the books. It's now time for us to talk about this day in general. One more time, I'd like to remind you, our executive producer for today's show is the incredible Peter. Thank you so much. The show only survives. I only eat if you guys tip. That's not a joke. The money that this show comes is the money that I use to live on. I use all the other money to pay for this shit. But thank you. Thank you to Peter, our executive producer. If you want to drop a little tip, you want to say thank you for doing this every day, we support this kind of non-divisive talk radio, you should feel free to make your way over to the Venmo or the Cash App. Drop a little something in. Big tipper at today's show will be the executive producer tomorrow. So thank you all so much. All right, let's get started. Quarter 4. Here we go. Let's get started. Oh, shit. Hold on. Is this breaking? Hold on. It's not breaking. That story's 4 months old. All right, never mind. I hate that. There were certain news aggregators that have headlines that they really like, so they recycle them just to get you to click on it, and then you're like, oh, shit, this was 3 months ago. This isn't actual news. All right. Let's get started. I'm going to talk about a couple of things off the top here that are national things having to do with our country and all the stuff that we're doing, and people are getting all butthurt about it, but I'm not going to really offer any commentary on it because, I mean, I think it's all... I'm not a serious person when it comes to this. I think it's all kind of funny and just stupid. So whatever, but we got to talk about it. So the Elon Musk thing last night was weird, right? Yesterday, Elon Musk in the Oval Office. That was weird, man. 2 weeks ago, Time Magazine put out an article, put on a cover story about Elon Musk's influence in this administration. They had a picture of Elon Musk on the cover of Time Magazine sitting behind the Resolute desk. I don't know much about, I know the very surface stuff about Trump, right? I know that he seems like that's the kind of thing that might, make him a little butthurt. Although what doesn't make him, but he's always butthurt. He's always complaining about something, this guy. So anyway, Elon Musk, man. You know me about Elon, okay? Let me restate my feelings on Elon. That fucking dude is crazy. All right, that dude is weird as shit. But I'm a spacey man. I like the spacey stuff. I think that man's exploration of just things in general, man's exploration of what's next, what's out there, where can we go? We're here. What if we go over here? That is just ingrained in us. And I think it's probably important that we follow that instinct. So if Elon wants to take us to Mars and wants to start colonizing other planets and stuff like that, other planets, I mean Mars, maybe the moon, whatever, it's a big goal, man. And a lot of people are like, why is that important? And then I don't even answer those people because they're obviously too stupid to be deserving of my time explaining why almost everything that we have came from our desire to explore what's next. The shit we take for granted. That was invented because we needed to breathe on the moon or whatever, So just stop it, okay? Science and exploration and what's next, that's always been a part of us, and we're always going to do it. So I love that about Elon Musk. I love all the spacey stuff. Everything else, man, I just want him to go the away, okay? I don't want him involved. Guys, nobody voted for Elon Musk. He's the wealthiest man in the world. Okay, so by that token, he's probably also the most influential because that's a big thing to be the wealthiest man in the world. And he's sitting behind the Resolute desk. Actually, I don't even think that's the Resolute desk. Whatever. He's sitting behind the president. The president is seated there. And Elon's behind him in a weird black hat. And first of all, baseball cap indoor. Get off the spectrum, weirdo. Did nobody teach you? You don't wear a hat indoors. Now, I know what you're saying, Pugs. You're indoors. You're wearing a hat. Yeah, but this is like I always wear the hat. It's part of the whole presentation. I'm doing a show. Elon Musk should not have been doing a show yesterday. He shouldn't have been there. Again, I point out. This is a weird dude who is on the spectrum. I mean, he says that himself. He is a weird dude who is on the spectrum, who was raised in an apartheid state. Okay, he's not an American. He's not even close to being American. He doesn't share our values. He didn't grow up loving this country and rooting for Miracle on Ice and all of that shit. He's from another country, okay? He's from another place. A place that is real sketchy, too. When you look at the time he grew up there, the sketchiest country. It was like North Korea of its time. The whole world ostracized South Africa. And that's the world that he was born into. That's where he comes from. That's his life experience. That's the way he sees the world, the way that he was raised to see it in apartheid South Africa. And yesterday, for a half hour, we had to watch this guy that nobody elected to anything, who is obviously fucking weird. He's only rich. That's it. He's rich and he's smart. But that shouldn't have him standing there behind the desk walking, pacing back and forth, holding a press conference while the president of the United States, the most important single individual on the planet, sits there like a dope, twiddling his thumbs while Elon Musk takes questions from the press. And press, the fuck are you doing directing questions to him? You're in the Oval Office. Direct your questions to the president. Like, here's the first question. Hey, Mr. President, we want to talk to you. Who the fuck is this guy? And why is he occupying all this time in this press conference? One of the cool things that he did do, though, which I thought was funny. Remember the condoms line? Remember, there's like, he says shit. Elon just shit tweets nonsense. And because, he's got so many followers, hell, that doesn't matter. He owns the platform. Every time I sign on to Twitter, the very first tweet I see is from Elon Musk. It's another reason why I want to get the fuck off that platform and spend more time on Blue Sky. It's just too. Ugh. So Elon once shit posted about, and I amplified it. I talked about it. I thought it was true. Why? Because Elon was saying it, and he seems like he's in the know. He said that thing about like $59 million in condoms that were sent to Gaza. And then everybody got triggered. Oh my God. Everybody gets triggered. $59 million. Well, that wasn't fucking true. They sent $40 million in condoms and trainer, like doctors and shit to train about sexual awareness. 40 million was earmarked for Central Africa for that, where AIDS is insane. That's the reason for that. And, we can debate whether or not that should even be our business. Okay, that's fine. But at least you understand why condoms were being sent to a country that is riddled with AIDS. It wasn't Gaza. And don't pretend that Elon Musk didn't know that he was lying. Of course he did. He knew that saying Gaza would trigger people more so than saying Central Africa. So that's what he did. And that's the guy who's pacing back and forth with his adorable little kid. I don't even know which one is that. He's got like 15 kids. He had an adorable little kid in a trench coat. Did you see him? He was so cute. I'm like, oh my God, that kid's going to grow up to be such an asshole. But right now, wonderful little toddler. So Elon admitted that was wrong. And he's like, I was incorrect. Actually, let's watch a little of this. It was so weird. And I don't give a shit about what's happening in Washington, okay? Until my internet goes out, I don't really have a problem with any of this. My internet, I don't know, gas goes up to like $6 a gallon, maybe I'll have a problem. But let's watch this. This bothers me. Here's Elon Musk admitting that the Gaza thing is bullshit. Just like half the stuff he tweets. It's all bullshit. Here you go.
Mr. Musk, you said on X that an example of the fraud that you have cited was $50 million of condoms was sent to Gaza. But after fact-check this, apparently Gaza in Mozambique, and the program was to protect them against HIV. So can you correct the statements? It wasn't sent to Hamas, actually. It was sent to Mozambique, which makes sense why condoms was sent there. Yeah. And how can we make sure that all the statements that you said were correct, so we can trust what you say?
Well, first of all, some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000. I mean, we will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes. I'm not sure we should be sending $50 million worth of condoms to anywhere, frankly. I'm not sure that's something Americans would be really excited about. And that is really an enormous number of condoms, if you think about it. But you know, if it went to Mozambique instead of Gaza, I'm like, okay, that's not as.
Okay, so that's bullshit. He knew what he was doing. He said Gaza because Gaza is in the news and it triggers dummies who don't understand about the AIDS crisis in Africa, who don't know about that because we don't give a fuck about that. You know who gives a fuck about that? Lefty Hollywood types. But the regular person doesn't think about the AIDS crisis. That's why we have elected officials. We vote for them so that they can go to Washington and pay attention to that shit. But he said Gaza. And this guy's a duplicitous piece of shit. Absolutely the worst. Barney would like to point out that he's also successful. Cool. So was Hitler. I mean, what do you mean successful? What does that have to do with anything? He was born into a family that owned a diamond mine, Barney. I bet you could have been successful too. The fuck? Successful? His dad owned a diamond mine in South Africa. He grew up rich. Successful. You people carrying water for these people because you think if I say nice things about them, they might like one of my tweets and then they'll give me $1 billion. Stop it. These people are using you, Barney. They're expecting you to post things like, Ed, he's successful. He's good. Money, good. Stop thinking that way. I love you, Barney. Sorry you had to take a beating there, but I needed somebody to trigger me today, and it was Barney. Al also points out that I always post on X. I do. I can't get off it. It's where all you fuckers are. And I hate it. Frank also points out about X. It's the only place you can call someone a retard and say boobs. No, it's not. You can call a retard in real fucking life, and you can see boobs anywhere. Anywhere. Frank, Twitter's great because I want to call people retard and say boobs. Just Google boobs, my guy. Just boobs. Just booble. But seriously, Frank, that's a selling point to you? That they let you be fucking mean to people and I can see tits and jerk off. That's why I like X. That's exactly why I fucking hate X. It's ugly. It's not fun. People are not having conversations. People are not. Yeah, actually, that's not true. Some people, there's still some fun people on Twitter. There's still some fun people. And you know what? Blue Sky. You want to know why I can't get into Blue Sky? Because it's fucking lame. Because Blue Sky is nothing but all of these like lefties who everything is political on Blue Sky as long as it takes a big shit on people that aren't lefties. So I can't get into that either. What am I going to go back to Facebook? Ugh. I'm trying hard not to be old. Me going back to Facebook is just going to seal that deal. Facebook getting any better, right? I mean, I ain't been on Facebook with any regularity in a while, but every time I do peek in, I'm like, ew, this place is still nasty. You know what it is? I don't like you people. I don't like Americans. I don't like the free exchange of ideas with people who have no consequences due to their anonymity. That's what I hate. I hate the people on social media who say all kinds of awful shit, and then nobody knows who they are because they're like, Big Butts 5 or whatever. Al says he's also very innovative in the creation of Neuralink, which helps a lot of people who are paraplegic. Fuck yeah, man. Stay in your lane. I called him Da Vinci yesterday. He's like Da Vinci. That's the closest thing to what we have in Elon Musk. I wish he would funnel this gift, this brilliance, whatever it is that he has. I wish he would funnel it exclusively into improving life for human beings, whether that means exploring the world, whether that means the Neuralink curing paralysis and all that stuff. I want him to stay in that lane and get the fuck out of the stupid shit he has no business being an influence on. Because again, I don't want the most powerful person in America. And right now it seems like that's Elon Musk. Elon Musk has bought and paid for this president. I believe. No bank in the world will give Donald Trump a loan. Okay? That's a problem. Elon Musk, richest guy in the world. Elon Musk just running roughshod over everything. And again, I'm not panicking about what he's doing because I'm not an expert. I don't know. Doge is tearing up the whole. I don't know. I'm gonna let elected officials who that's our system. We vote for them so that they can worry about this stuff. I'm gonna let them, and good luck with that. But I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. What I have, and so I don't have I'm not gonna freak out over that yet. What I have a problem with is that there doesn't seem to be any checks and balances on this basically autistic rich guy from an apartheid state who now seems to be pacing back and forth in the Oval Office holding court with reporters while the president stands there or sits there twiddling his thumbs. That's what I don't like. That nobody should like that. But you know what? It's fine because it's been normalized. You know why it's been normalized? Because it's been done once. It's been done once now. Now that's okay. There should be nobody else in that fucking room with the president. I mean, not in camera. I mean, they should have aides off to the side like they always do, but it should just be the president going one-on-one with the media. And that's great. And to this Trump's credit, the president, remember I said I'm not going to call him Trump, I'm going to call him the president. To the president's credit, he has done press conferences every single day. So, this coming on the heels of Biden, who never did any. But I would offer you this. Trump is doing press conferences every day because he's a TV guy. Because he just sees it as doing a TV show every day. And that's the thing that he really likes to do. He wants to be on TV. He wants to be saying shitty things and making people in the corners of the room laugh. That's who he is. He's an entertainer. And who cares if it's all transparent? Oh, it's so transparent because he's talking about everything. Even not if he's just making shit up like condoms to Gaza. We're not getting transparency. We're getting stories. But whatever. This is a constitutional crisis. You hearing this from people? Constitution. Dude, the guy's cabinet isn't even fucking approved yet. He doesn't even have, he's 3 weeks in. Stop with the constitutional crisis stuff right now, okay? And by the way, you Democrats, you guys look really bad in all of this. You just look like a bunch of pearl clutching ninnies. You look like a bunch of, he should be able to do this. I saw Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer was screaming about, this is against everything that America stands for. Then get a pitchfork and stab Lindsey Graham in the face with it, man. I mean, what are you doing? This is all talk, you feckless pussies. Thank you. There you go. That's about as political as we get here. Tear down both sides equally because they're all jobbing us. And you people carrying water for one side or the other are fools being played by master manipulators. They all suck. Oh, I got a mega hit. Oh, I got a mega head. Oh, what is that? What is the bumper sticker that I always see that I roll my eyes? The old Hillary Clinton thing. Resist or whatever. Resistance. Oh, shut up. Everybody wants to be a part of a little club. Frank says, I agree with Frank. Frank says that Elon should stay in the genius business. Stay in the genius business, not the public policy business, because you're a fucking awkward weirdo who doesn't know anything about how to be in public with people. Thank you. That's all I'm going to do. That's all I'm going to do. KB Artist says he uses that kid as a prop to seem relatable. The kid was cute. It worked. The kid was adorable. I couldn't take my eyes off that little kid. And the whole time I'm looking at him going, oh, he's so cute. I wonder at what point he's going to be an asshole. Like, at what point is that kid going to realize that, hey, wait a second. I'm Elon Musk's kid. I don't know. He certainly didn't have it yesterday. He was adorable there in the Oval Office. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? So that's the thing going on there. Okay, so now let's talk about some other fun stuff. The Gulf of Mexico is now, I don't know. Is it officially the Gulf of America? I mean, and I say, I don't know, because like countries change their name all the time. You know, like there used to be a place called Rhodesia and Monrovia. You know, there were countries change their names all the time. But I don't know that anything like an ocean, like could we rename in 300 years? Could somebody come along and rename the Atlantic Ocean? You know, I mean, I don't know how that works. Like what makes renaming the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of America. What makes that official? Google is who makes it official, at least in my eyes. And Google has officially on their map changed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. They haven't changed Denali yet, though. I went looking for Denali. Mount McKinley up there. Is that America's highest peak? I should know that, but also probably I shouldn't know that. That's a stupid thing to know. That serves. I'm not a mountain climber. There's no reason for me to know that. Anyway, Mount McKinley, named after President McKinley, who I used to think there's no reason to name a mountain after him. And then he had a birthday a couple of days ago, and we went through his resume, and I'm like, no, wait a second. He's not a spare president. He actually did some good stuff, and he should have a mountain. So then I was like, all right, let's keep McKinley named after him. And then Trump, he changed it. He said he's going to change it back to, because the Indians named it Denali, like thousands of years ago. That's like the ancestral name of that mountain, Denali. But then the white man came along and we named it McKinley. And then a couple of years ago, they were like, nah, let's call it Denali again. And it went back to Denali. And now Trump is like, nah, it should be McKinley again, for no other reason than it'll piss off people who like Native Americans, right? Isn't that the only reason? Right? Like, who gives a fuck if it's called Denali or McKinley? I don't get it. I don't understand why this is a big deal. But there are people who care. And Trump giving them the finger is, I think, the only reason for it. The only reason for it is like, yeah, fuck you. Named after a president. So that's cool. Also, let's see, what else do we have? Lake Michigan. J.B. Pritzker, governor of Illinois, said he's renaming Lake Michigan Lake Illinois. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Why is it Lake Michigan? It should be Lake Chicago, quite frankly. That's the biggest population center that's on that lake. What else do we have? Trump's going to get rid of the penny. He's going to get rid of the penny. You know what? This hits me. This bugs me. Trump wanting to get rid of the penny. Not that I like pennies or anything, but did you know my home state of Illinois is the only state in these here United States where you can use pennies in toll booths? Yeah, if you go through, I used to do this all the time, a big bag of pennies, big bag of pennies. It's probably not the most effective way to pay your tolls. But, like I had a purple Crown Royal bag filled with pennies right there as a kid. Every time I'd go through a toll booth, I would grab a handful of pennies, just a handful. Like, I didn't even know what I was doing. I would just grab a handful of pennies and chuck them in the toll booth. And then we'd go, chick, 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 chick. And then if the gate didn't open, then I'd be like, and I'd grab like a couple more and I'd throw them in. And then the gate would open. Illinois is the only state in America where toll booths are designed to accept pennies. Why? Because we're the land of Lincoln. We're the land of Lincoln. We're not gonna turn our back on the penny. We will use it. The toll booth. So Trump wants to get rid of the penny. Yeah, he's probably right. I mean, I don't know what are we making pennies for anymore? Nobody uses pennies. What are we making any kind of dollars for? So I go to Kroger a lot. I tell you about this. I like to find my good deals at Kroger. Can't go this week. No money. Oh, jeez. I can't even buy like discounted soup this week because of how rough last week's pledge week was. So every time I go to Kroger, every time I go to Kroger, I get accosted by a guy who's a homeless guy. It's the same guy every time. I say the same thing to him every time. And he doesn't seem to remember. But like I go almost every day. So I'll be getting out of my car and the guy will be like, hey, my man, I was wondering, could you, and then I always have to stop him. I have to go, bro, I don't have money. I don't have any money. I got plastic. Can you take a debit card? Because that's all I got. And I oftentimes when I find myself, I'll say to these guys like, man, this got to hurt your business, huh? I mean, everybody having plastics gotta hurt the panhandling business. Nobody has change anymore. All right, so Trump wants to get rid of the penny. That's fine. There's a Texas bill. This is interesting. I want to do more local stuff. Yeah, more interesting local stuff. We got a bill here in Texas as we do this show every day from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the Design District of Dallas. There's a Texas bill. Here's what it says. I want to read it to you because there's an interesting choice of words here. Texas bills, multiple bills. Texas bills would allow 10 commandments and Bible reading in public schools. Similar legislation has been introduced in Georgia, Kentucky, Ohio, and other states. Well, come on, where's Florida? Now you tell me Florida and Arizona ain't involved in this? This sounds right up Florida and Arizona. Let's see here. Other states in recent weeks, as Louisiana's 10 Commandments law remains under legal scrutiny. All right, so here's what's happening here in Texas. Bills introduced by Republicans in the Texas Senate would require the 10 Commandments to be displayed in public schools and allow for schools to carve out time for students to read the Bible. All right, couple of interesting words here, right? So the ones that I accented. Texas State Senate has a bill in front of them that would require public schools to present the 10 Commandments. Not if they want, required. You're required. Like theoretically, there's going to be a dude from the state who's going to go to every school and go, here's your fine for not having the 10 Commandments. You know what I mean? If you're required, public schools to display the 10 Commandments. But schools will also be allowed to carve out time for students to read the Bible, specifically the Bible. It says there, like if they're allowing kids to, if schools are being allowed to carve out time for children to read religious scripture, that's fine. That's the American way. Not everybody has to read the Bible. But no, in Texas, apparently it's specifically the Bible. So what happens if you don't want it, this carved out time? What if you don't want to read the Bible in the carved out time? Well, you clean the shitters. That's it. We're going to put you kids to work in the shitters. You're going to clean and scrub toilets. Or you can read the Bible. It's weird. It's like worded weirdly. 10 Commandments are a part of our Texas and American story, Senator Phil King says. He's the lead author of the bill. Adding that if our students don't know the 10 Commandments, they will never understand the foundation for much of American history and law. Well, that's debatable. That is. I had someone say to me once, well, if you're not religious, then how do you have a moral code? And I simply said, I was raised by better people than you were. That's the answer to that. If you don't know the 10 Commandments, how can you be a good person? Well, you can be raised by decent, loving, compassionate people who instill in you all kinds of qualities that you're relying on your faith to provide. I got it from my mom and my grandma and my grandpa. I got it from those people. That's why I'm not a jerk off. That's why I'm not, out there stealing and robbing and being duplicitous with people. You don't need faith. You don't need the 10 Commandments. I got a problem with the require. I don't have an issue with they're going to allow schools to carve out time for students to read the Bible. So like study hall, like I can't read. Like if I'm a kid in, I don't know, Forney, Texas, and it's my study hall period, can I just read the Bible if I want in the study hall period? Why do we need this to be codified into law? I don't get it. Anyway, that's what's happening here. I don't get it. Hey, man, ain't nothing wrong with the 10 Commandments. 10 Commandments are all, food for thought. Those are good guidelines. 10 Commandments. But this idea that you must accept these words of a specific faith, that seems very un-American. It just seems un-American. I'm a godless heathen, so, what do I know? All right, let's keep going. All right, this is very big news in my house. I actually rifled through my pantry. I had to make sure that we were covered. We're all good. Starkist, I'm a Starkist guy. Tuna is being recalled. Tuna, it's a big tuna recall. Here's what you need to look up. Do you like tuna? You want to know how much I like tuna? And by the way, I do not. I have changed in the last couple of months. I consume a lot of tuna. I like tuna. I consume so much tuna that my body fights back, and I'll explain that in a minute. I used to buy the canned tuna, albacore, got to be albacore in spring water. Like the regular tuna in like oil looks like cat food. I just can't. But if it's like big, chunky, white, flaky albacore in spring water, I'm good. Used to love it in the can. Now I like the pouches. Have you seen this tuna innovation? These little pouches? Sometimes they come with the full tuna salad already in there. Oh, You open that up, you put it on a piece of bread. I just love tuna. I love tuna fish on toast with mustard, mayo, pickles, and like cheddar cheese. Oh, that is such a good sandwich. That's a good sandwich. And it's easy. And it's cheap. Yeah, something I can eat a lot. Here's my problem. My body kicks back on me. This started like a couple of years ago when I was like thinking, I'm going to lose a lot of weight by doing nothing but eating tuna. And I ate tuna for 2 straight weeks. That's it. Every day, tuna, tuna, tuna. Tuna casserole, tuna salad, tuna sandwiches, tuna steaks, tuna. Guess what I got? I got gout. It gave me gout. You ever had gout? Gout. Apparently, and I looked this up, I'm like, why are my feet swelled up like this? Why can't I walk? And then I like Google it. I'm like, oh, this is probably gout. And I Google gout, and they're like, the first thing that causes gout, tuna. You're eating too much tuna fish. So I have to be careful. I have to be careful eating tuna. Like I said, I would eat it every night. Every night I come home, I'm like, I'm going to make some toast. I'm going to put some tuna on it. I'm going to have a tuna sandwich. I would do that every night, but I can't. I can only have tuna 2 or 3 times a week now. Because of my gout. That's, I'm very sensitive about it. All right. Anyway, that's my story. That's my relationship to tuna. Now let's talk about what's happening and how it affects you. Canned tuna at Trader Joe's, Walmart, and Costco have been recalled over botulism risk. The recall is due to a defect on the cans. Easy open pull lid that could lead to leakage or Clostridial botulinum contaminum. Could kill you with the botulism thing. But this is important because I wish I had read this earlier. I wouldn't have had to look at all my cans and where it was made, right? I looked at where it was packaged, like to make sure that it wasn't where they say. So I was good with my cans. But turns out now, all I had to look for was, did it have a pull top? I don't have any tuna that has a pull top. I got like 3 cans of tuna, and that's all like, you got to use a can opener for that. And then I got like 10 pouches of like the Star Kiss stuff. So there you go. If you've got tuna that's got a pull can, I'd throw it out just in case. All right, let's go to some specifics. The recall's been issued for some canned tuna products sold across the country at Trader Joe's, Walmart, Costco, and other stores because of a pull tab defect that could lead to potentially fatal botulism. Tri-Union Seafoods issued a voluntary recall for select lots of canned tuna products that are sold under the brand names. Are you ready? All right, Tri-Union Seafoods is one you need to remember. If it says on the back of your can where it's canned and all that stuff, it says Tri-Union. Throw that out. Notice we've done recalls before. Notice I'm like real serious about this one because it concerns tuna. Tri-Union Seafoods issued a voluntary recall for selected lots of canned tuna products that are sold under brand names like Geneva, Van Camp's, Trader Joe's, and H-E-B Home Brands. The company and the Food and Drug Administration announced this in a news release on Friday. So there you go. I don't shop at any of those places, so I don't have to worry about it. And like I said, I just buy Star Kissed in the pouch. You know what, Kroger, it's only 89 cents per pouch. 89 cents! That's a sandwich. Hey, 89 cent sandwich. The bread is $2 for a whole loaf. Come on, you're getting a sandwich for like under $1. Pretty good. All right, canned tuna. We got a canned tuna problem. Let's talk about the dog show. We all like dogs, right? Who doesn't love dogs? Something funny. I'm doing something terrible to my dog. You guys know my dog, CeeLo the Hellhound. I've been doing some stuff to her lately that I'm getting endless kicks out of. First of all, she falls asleep every night. I'm watching TV. She falls asleep on my chest. She's a big dog. She's 115 pounds now. She's a big dog. She's Catahoula, Stafford, Bull Terrier mix. They're called a Hooly Bully. She's a big, mean, angry dog, but she loves me and the people in the house, or the people that she knows. So we're good. So she does this thing where she lays on my. Her head is the size of a basketball, right? But so I'll be laying there watching TV, and she climbs up on me and she lays her head on my chest, and then right when she's super asleep, I simply say this. Like sound asleep, like wait for your dog to be sound asleep, like making the noises, like maybe even running in their sleep. You ever seen when your dog runs in their sleep? She makes all kinds of noises and she kicks her legs. So I'll wait till she's like in a dead sleep, and then I'll just simply go, want to go outside? She will wake up from a dead sleep and sit straight up like, and then I won't say anything else, and she'll look around, and then I won't say anything else, and then she'll start questioning. Did she hear that right? Was that a dream? Did you? And then she'll get comfortable again, and she'll lay down. And that's the fun that I have with my dog. I love dogs. The dog show, the Westminster Dog Show was this week. Isn't it like a multi-day affair? Anyway, the winner, best in show, if you will, was named yesterday. And here you go. It was a pretty big moment, a very big moment. Let's what? Why was this post deleted? I just went to the post and it said this post has been deleted. It's a fucking clip from the Westminster Dog Show. Why would that be? Oh, Jesus. So now I got to figure out how to spell. All right, I got to figure out how to spell this. Hold on, let's see. Yeah, all right, we'll go with this one. For some reason, the one I used before didn't work. All right, here we go. This comes from FS1 because in some circles, I suppose dog shows are a sport. Here you go. This was the dog show last night.
Our best in show at the 149th annual Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show.
All right, wait a second. First, before we do this, let's look at the contenders. All right, we got, I don't know what's going on over here. This looks like a whippet, right? It looks like some kind of a whippet breed. Not sure. Like a Maltese over here, right? This little looks like a mop, right? This, I'm sure it's a lovely animal. Just, what else do we got? We can't see what we got here. Can't see. This. I don't know what this dude is, but I kind of like him. I don't know. I'm just getting good vibes from him. All right, and then we got over here. We got like this looks like a big one. What is this? Well, I'll tell you what that is. I know what that is.
I choose the giant schnauzer.
Oh, Monty!
Monty the Giant Schnauzer is the best in show. This is a big deal. I guess a giant Schnauzer's never won before. And Monty, this particular Schnauzer, Monty has been in the finals 3 years in a row and lost all three. And now he's won. So now Monty, let's watch Monty and let's watch the owner. Let's watch this from the beginning.
For best in show at the 149th annual Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show, I choose the giant Schnauzer.
Oh, Monty! He did it. 3 years and he finally wins best in show.
Monty's happy. I don't know if Monty knows what's going on, but Monty is sort of, I mean, these dogs don't break. These dogs are very dialed in. The crowd erupting in applause, that shouldn't break the dog. The dog should still be, but this dog is like, hey, Mom, I think I won.
Oh, what an incredible moment for Katie Bernadette.
Monty the Magnificent, your 2025 Best in Show, the Giant Schnauzer.
Congratulations, Sandra Nordstrom, Katie Bernadette, and Cheryl Ann Ambrose. What a great...
All right, there you go. That dog seems cool. That giant Schnauzer, that seems cool. I had a Schnauzer, or at least there was a Schnauzer in the family, let's put it that way. It wasn't really my Schnauzer. I guess it was my grandma and grandpa's Schnauzer. Or no, that wasn't a Schnauzer. That was a Scotty. Same dog, right? They're the same damn dog, except that giant Schnauzer is a big one. But a Schnauzer and a Scotty, very similar, right? I don't know, whatever. Giant Schnauzer, Monty, wins the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Contest. All right, so yesterday we talked a little bit about Kanye West and how he went a little nuts over the weekend with a whole bunch of crazy ass tweets and stuff and Nazis and so I guess I didn't put all this together, but he was dropped by everybody. Like he's dropped again. And who was still working with Kanye after like 6 months ago when everybody dropped him in the first wave? But he's been dropped by his agents. He's been dropped by his label. He's been dropped by his shoes. He's been dropped by he's been dropped by everybody. Nobody wants to work with him. Because apparently, he was in a Super Bowl commercial because for a period of time, Apple wanted to work with him. So was it? They put him in a commercial. And in the commercial, he promoted his website, Yeezy.com, during the Super Bowl. So if you were watching that commercial and you're sitting on your phone and he says, oh, yeah, and go to Yeezy.com or whatever, and then you went to Yeezy.com, you know what you would find? You would find Kanye's online store that sold only one product, a t-shirt with a swastika on it. Yep, that's It's a Super Bowl audience. It was a commercial for Apple, right? Where he was talking about all the things that his Apple phone could do, right? And he was like in a dentist chair or something. And then he said, like, go to easy.com. So if you went to easy.com, you would find a site that had only one thing for sale, and that was a swastika. Okay, so, you know, he's an asshole, and you really can't fix that because he's nuts. But now there's this whole, did you see this thing going around? Here, I'll give you the story. So there's like celebrities shout back at Kanye, except it's not celebrities. This is an AI thing. Have you seen this stupid AI thing? Hollywood getting involved. Hollywood. Kanye, we don't like Kanye. Celebrities protest Kanye West in fake AI video. Scarlett Johansson makes a statement on the video. Celebrities included David Schwimmer, Steven Spielberg, Jerry Seinfeld, Adam Sandler, and Sacha Baron Cohen are depicted giving Kanye the finger, while the real Scarlett Johansson pushes back against the viral deepfake. Top Hollywood stars have banded together to protest Kanye West's anti-Semitism. A viral video depicts Jewish celebrities such as David Schwimmer, Steven Spielberg, Jerry Seinfeld, Adam Sandler, Scarlett Johansson. Boy, that's a wild one. Where does Scarlett Johansson get the Jewish stuff from? Is it her mom? Johansson is not. Doesn't sound very ethnically Jewish. Sounds very Swedish. Sounds, Nordic. It sounds yeah, sort of Jewish, really. I mean, it sounds. So I don't know. We'll have to figure that out, or not. The video also features Sacha Baron Cohen and others wearing anti-Kanye t-shirts. Except this protest video was generated using AI. The creator of the video is unknown and presumably didn't get permission from any of the celebrities to use their likeness. Oh, you think? Presumably. And now one of the celebrities portrayed is speaking out about the stunt. The video follows West's unhinged anti-Semitic comments on social media and selling a white t-shirt on his website that was branded with a swastika, following a bait and switch Super Bowl ad. So that's the thing I was telling you about. The video concludes with the words, "Enough is enough," and join the fight against anti-Semitism. I ain't joining anything anymore. You know why? Because nothing ever gets done. You all just feel good about being in a club that is like stands for doing good, but you don't ever do it. It's not, really. Let's stand in the fight against anti-Semitism. What does that look like? How do we stop anti-Semitism other than just marginalizing anti-Semites to the point where it's just not feasible for them to be in civilized society anymore? That's the only thing you can do. Only thing you can do. Marginalize people who have these idiotic and extremely troubling worldviews. In a statement to People, Scarlett Johansson objected to the deepfake video, regardless of its intentions. Here's a quote from her. "It has been brought to my attention by family members and friends that an AI-generated video featuring my likeness in response to an anti-Semitic view has been circulating online and gaining traction. I am a Jewish woman who has no tolerance for anti-Semitism or hate speech of any kind. But I also firmly believe that the potential for hate speech multiplied by AI is a far greater threat than any one person who takes accountability for it. We must call out the misuse of AI, blah, blah, blah." All right, let's watch this video. Here we go. For me, this is just another example of Hollywood, doing the whole eye roll thing. Oop, wait, do we have it? Oh, do we have it? Yeah, we got it. All right. Oh, why won't that? There we go. Let's go back. All right. Is there no sound? What the fuck? That one sucks. I know. Get you a better one. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Hava Nagila. They're like some ominous, scary, we're coming for you version of Hava Nagila. You'll hear it. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Wait a second. Oh, trust me, I got thoughts on this. Boom. There you go. All right, here we go. This is the controversial AI-generated clapback by Hollywood celebrities against Kanye West anti-Semitism. Starts out with Scarlett Johansson. Hey, ironically enough, I'd wear that shirt. I wouldn't wear the white one. See, this is, by the way, these shirts are exactly like Kanye's Nazi shirt. It's white, and in the dead center is a very big swastika, exactly like these shirts. What's going on with it? A couple of trends. Wait, Jack Black is Jewish? I didn't know that. That's crazy. Oh, Black. His name is Black. Oh, what's wrong with me? Lenny Kravitz? Natalie Portman? That guy. Oh, look at that. They're even bringing in controversial figures. Who's that? There you go. All right. You guys, it's okay. Hollywood's got this. Hollywood. I hate this shit. Look at us. We're all going to get together and we're going to say, stop it. Hold on, guys. I got to take a quick break here. I got to reboot something. Give me a break. We'll be right back. We got more show coming. Don't worry. Hold on. Fuck! My mics just went out. All right, so I don't know. It's not working. Guys, it's coming through the computer mic, isn't it? Because the mic went out. Let's try this again. Fuck! All right. Well, I don't know what that was about, but it seems to be okay now. This it should be good. How we doing? You hear me? Frank said, Frank Smith in the chat room says, ye might have a mental issue. You might. All right, how is it? Is it okay? Is the sound all right now? You need to all good. All right, thank you, Cece. Appreciate that. I just looked down at my my Zoom box and it just completely crashed on me. And then I realized it was because one of the connectors was loose. It's fixed now, so it should be okay. Appreciate that. All right, let's keep going. We got more stuff. We got more stuff to get to. Celebs and Kanye. Ugh. All right, very big. Let's keep going. Mavs stuff. All right, I want to get into some of this here. All right, so let's talk about the Mavs and let's talk about the situation. Lost in overtime last night, right? 1 point. Sacramento. So obviously with the Dallas Mavericks NBA franchise, there are a lot of upset fans here. Hold on. Sorry, I'm watching a story. I thought it was from here. I thought it was from Dallas. It turns out it's from Ohio. Apparently, Ohio, outside of Cincinnati, they also have a bridge that goes over a major thoroughfare where a bunch of white supremacists put up Nazi signs and stuff, just like we got at North Park in 75. You ever seen that? You ever seen that bridge on a Friday? Oh my God, they're all out there. 1 week, it's like pro-Palestinian terror people. Then the next week, it's like Nazis. And then the next week, it's Trump people. And then the next week, it's terror people. And then it's Nazis. And then, okay. Anyway, apparently that happens in Ohio too. I thought it was just a Texas thing because, freedom. All right, let's talk about the Mavs. So the Mavs traded Luka Doncic last week. A lot of people very upset about it, haven't gotten over it yet, and nor should they. I mean, this was a hugely devastating piece of breaking news that dropped late on was Saturday? Was it Saturday night or Friday night? It was over a weekend. It was big news. So nobody's gotten over it. It's not like, oh, here we are a week later and everybody's okay. Games can go back to normal and look at them. They're playing great and blah, blah, blah. No, everybody's angry. Everybody's pissed off at, first and foremost, Nico Harrison, the general manager of the Mavericks, who is behind the trade. I mean, he is taking, to his credit, he is taking 100% responsibility. It was him working secretly with the Lakers. He predetermined who he would want for Luka Doncic, so he only dealt with the people who could deliver that, which sounds like a really terrible way to manage your team's future. I mean, you could have, look, I'm not saying everybody in this town's been talking about it, so I feel stupid saying stuff like, they could have shopped him and gotten, I mean, everybody's been saying that. Right? I mean, we've seen recently, we've seen far lesser players with more tread on the tires than Luka Doncic bringing much more. I don't want to be so hyperbolic, but so much more than Anthony Davis and a couple of other scrubs and nothing really else. Anthony Davis is a great player, but Anthony Davis is 31 years old and he's hurt a lot and he's hurt again. So, 2 days in a Mavericks uniform and now he's gone for a month? Be back just in time for that playoff push. Luka's over there in LA. He's out there in LA. The first thing Luka did, he landed in LA and cut a check for $500,000 to the fire relief fund. Yeah, Luka ingratiating himself with his new loss. He's in Malibu. Oh my God. Seriously, you guys, he's fine. Luka doesn't miss you. You shouldn't feel like, oh, but I love Luka. He doesn't give a fuck. Seriously, he's a professional athlete. He's a 25-year-old multimillionaire. He liked it here because it was where he started. But now he's in LA. And trust me, if you've seen Luka and listened to any of the reports, he is going to love being Luka Doncic in LA. He is going to love that. It's going to be on Kimmel every night. Yeah, it's going to be that kind of thing. He's going to be a much bigger star. But it still sucks. And it shouldn't have happened. It should never have happened. I do keep coming down on the side of, what if they win this year? What if Nico Harrison says that he is in a win now mode and that Anthony Davis was the piece missing from the team that he's assembled that he thinks can deliver them a title this year? So what if they win a title this year? I mean, I bet you they do. I bet you they do. And here's why. Because of Pat Day at Ohio State, because of Nick Sirianni with the Philadelphia Eagles. Those are two coaches that after losses this year or decisions made in games or whatever. Those are two coaches that the fan base wanted run out of town. Both of those coaches in the months after the fans tried to run them out of town won world championships or national championships in the case of Pat Day and Ohio State. The Eagles, they wanted Sirianni fired after week 3. Okay? They wanted Sirianni is hated. Fire him. And then he delivers a Super Bowl. Is anybody going to apologize? No, of course not. So what if Nico Harrison delivers a title? Do you still, this is what I don't understand. If the Mavs get deep in the playoffs, are you guys not going to be rooting for the team? Are you guys not going to be excited? Are you guys not going to be hoping for the win? It's almost like, and again, this is a hypothetical. They have to win for any of this to make any sense. But if they win, are you still going to be upset that Luka's not here anymore? You got another title. So I don't know. So let's see how this plays out. But needless to say, well, the meatball class of Dallas Mavericks basketball fans fucking hate Nico Harrison right now. So let me see. Let's go through a bunch of stuff. We got a whole bunch of video from the game last night. Fans were being thrown out left and right for chanting "Fire Nico" and having signs that say "Fire Nico." One fan got into a fight with Mark Cuban, and Mark Cuban is on video dropping F-bomb. It's crazy. Calm the fuck down, you people. All right, so here, let me see. Let's the first. We'll give you a little story. Multiple Mavericks fans were ejected after mouthing, holding "Fire Nico's." Multiple fans ejected. I'm going to read you the way this. Multiple Mavericks fans ejected after mouthing, holding, quote, "Fire Nico" sign during overtime loss to Kings. Do you know my journalism professor would have kicked the person who wrote that headline out of the class? It violates every fucking rule of what a headline is supposed to be. But okay, we're going to move on. We don't have any journalistic standards anymore. Not since everybody started publishing their own daily newspaper on Twitter and Facebook every day. Tensions escalated at the American Airlines Center on Monday night as several Dallas Mavericks fans were ejected during a game against the Sacramento Kings. The removals occurred after fans vocally protested the recent trade of star player Luka Doncic. In the third quarter, a fan participating in a karaoke, or do you say karaoke? In a karaoke segment, was shown on the Jumbotron mouthing the words "Fire Nico." Yeah, if you're the Mavs in-house production team, you're going to want to not do the fan. You're not going to want to give a fan a microphone. You're not going to want to put fans on camera for extended periods of time. You're just not. If you're trying to avoid this, if you're trying to control the beast, which, by the way, never goes well for the puppet, the people trying to control the puppet string. The beast is loose, man. The fans do not want to hear your bullshit. But that's going to happen. So the karaoke segment, the guys like "Fire Nico," and they kicked them out. After putting him on the Jumbotron, I'd be like, "You just exploited me on the Jumbotron. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. I did not agree to be put on the Jumbotron." In the third quarter, a fan participating in a karaoke segment was shown on the Jumbotron mouthing the words "Fire Nico," referencing Mavericks GM Nico Harrison. The camera quickly panned away, but the same individual was later seen holding a sign bearing the same message. Security escorted him and another fan from their seats, drawing boos from the crowd. Later, another group of fans was removed after a verbal exchange with minority owner Mark Cuban, who told them to shut the F up and sit the F down. I'm sorry, I like Cuban. I know Cuban enough, as a guy, I've seen him enough around in situations where he's just got to be a normal guy, a normal person. I like him. I think he's a good person. Anyway, moving on. Later, another group of fans were removed after verbally exchanging vulgarities with Mark Cuban. Cuban addressed his interaction with that fan during Monday night's game, clarifying that the exchange was brief and involved only one individual. Here's what Cuban says. "And as far as my interaction last night, it was just with one guy. Fans were booing during crunch time while we had the ball." This is Cuban talking. "Fans were booing during crunch time while we had the ball and while we were shooting free throws. I wanted to see why. So I looked where they were looking. When the guy," and it was just one guy, saw me. This is Cuban speaking. He started screaming at me. I had no idea what he said, but he was obviously mad. He couldn't hear anything I said, but it was clear what I was saying. I didn't care what he was saying. He was saying it the whole game. I cared that fans were booing him while we had the ball in crunch time or when we were shooting free throws. The time when they should be silent or cheering for the mess. All right, so Cuban's saying that he's upset at the Fire Nico guys because they were chanting this shit and getting the crowd all riled up at moments in the game where Mavs fans should be dialed in and quiet, allowing the Mavs to do their thing. So that's what Cuban is saying his problem was. All right, let's watch some of these videos. Let's watch the Cuban one first, and then we'll go to my favorite one. Okay, so yeah, so here's Cuban interacting with the fan, or, you know, I guess not really interacting, but all right, so here he is. All right. Sit the fuck down. That's what he just said. No, you sit the fuck down. Sit the fuck down. All right, there you have it. There's more Cuban. Sit the fuck down. All right, now wait. I think we got video of the fan, don't we? All right, there's Cuban. Sit the fuck down. Let's see here. All right, so here, this is the fan being ejected. So this is the guy that Cuban was talking to. Oh God, do I not have this video? Yep, never mind. Okay, so we don't have that video. That sucks. All right, let's see what this is. What's this? Oh, this is more. This is an idea of what the crowd sounded like. The Fire Nico chants. All right, let's see how disruptive this is. All right. All right, so a bunch of these people here, this is apparently an SMU section. These are all SMU students, and apparently a number of them were escorted out of the building after chanting Fire Nico, Fire Nico. That does not sound all that disruptive. Should we listen to it again? It doesn't sound like there's an entire stadium chanting Fire Nico. This sounds like just a couple of people. This is not... All right, there you go. Fire Nico, that's happening there. That's him. Fire Nico, fan ejected. For fuck's sake. All right, so I lost the video of the fan being ejected, but that's okay. He was just a big meatball, just a big dumb meatball screaming at Cuban. Hold on, what is this? I'm trying to find some different. There's so many videos. I just don't want to waste. Nope, that's just another story. All right, how about this? Let's show this one. I like this one. This was my favorite. So this is Patrick Dumont. He's the don't even get me started on this. I had to look into this. This really irritates me. Patrick Dumont is the governor of the Mavericks. That's right. He's the governor. He's the Mavericks governor. He's the governor of the Mavericks. Patrick Dumont, governor of the Mavericks. I've been hearing this term for a couple of years now as it pertains to the NBA. And I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck is a governor? Is that like some extra job where you're kind of in the front office, but you're also like tied to the league? What is that position? They don't have a governor in the NFL. They don't have a governor in baseball. The hell is a governor? Come to find out, that's what the NBA is comfortable with calling owners. The NBA has changed the term team owner to team governor. You want to know why? Well, I found out why. I'm like, okay, I can guess why. But this is more of this eye-rolling bullshit that doesn't bother us individually in a one-on-one thing. But when you compound it with all the other little stupid eye-roll-inducing bullshit that we are inundated with every day, it's a pain in the ass. So the NBA calls their owners governors. Why? because it's mean in a league that is primarily African Americans to have them work for somebody called an owner. An owner, like slaves. They're slaves. Every black person in America who works for a company has an owner that they work for. But the NBA, in this story, I found this out. This goes back to 2019. I'm like, this had to have taken place in a different time because there is no way in 2024, 2025, especially after the results of the last election and the obvious tone of the country at large, that the NBA would be pulling this shit. But from 2019, here you go. Here's the explanation of why the NBA calls their owners governors. Use of governor began in the NBA around in 2019. Hold on, sorry. I don't know why I'm not here. I'm not hearing anything in my headphones. All right. Use of governor term in the NBA. This is from 2019. All right. As NBA teams make some major moves over the offseason, again, remember this is from 2019, a potentially less noticeable change is already occurring throughout the league. According to Commissioner Adam Silver, the NBA is continuing to move away from the use of the term owner to describe those who have controlling interest in teams in favor of the term governor of the team. The change was made due to concerns that the term owner can be viewed as racially insensitive in a league where the vast majority of players are African American. Again, I say this is such an overcorrection. This is so fucking stupid. This is finding a racial problem where a racial problem does not exist. Okay? No NBA player ever had a problem with there being a team owner. Okay, because that's what the guy who pays for everything is called. He's the owner of the team. It's the way it's always been in baseball, football, NBA, everything. Until somebody who is probably not a player and has never played the game, somebody in some meeting somewhere at NBA offices said, I think that it's racially insensitive that black men should work for somebody who calls themselves an owner. Again, everybody you work for, if you work anywhere, there's a guy that owns the company. Everybody works for an owner. This is finding a racial problem and pretending to fix it. Look at us. Look at what we're doing. We're fixing this. We don't have NBA owners. We've got NBA governors. It's just so fucking irritating. These little feckless things that they do and they shove in our face. And we're supposed to go, oh, that's better because now we're nice people. No, it's nonsense. The change was made due to concerns that the term owner can be viewed as racially insensitive in a league where the vast majority of players are African American and the majority of owners are Caucasian. While the league itself stopped using the term owner years ago, individual teams are now starting to follow suit, something Adam Silver was asked about. Here's what NBA Commissioner Adam Silver in 2019 said about using the term governor in place of owner. He says, I don't want to overreact to the term because, as I said earlier, people end up twisting themselves into knots, avoiding the use of the word owner. No, they don't. No, they do not, Adam Silver. Nobody twists themselves in knots when they're talking about the guy that owns their favorite basketball team. Well, I had lunch with the owner. The facility. Nobody does that. That is a made up thing. Nobody ever had a problem with someone who owns an NBA team being called an owner. You know why? Because nobody's got a problem with somebody who owns an NFL team being called an owner or a baseball team being called an owner. This is a problem created where one didn't exist simply because there are a lot of black people who play in the NBA. Let's defend them. I promised you this was some white woman in some meeting somewhere in New York at league offices who said, I'm here to defend the 7-foot black man. You can't call the boss owner anymore. It's absurd. I don't want to overreact. Again, this is Adam Silver, commissioner of the NBA, speaking in 2019. I don't want to overreact to the term because, as I said earlier, people end up twisting themselves into knots, avoiding using the term owner, Silver said. But we moved away from that term years ago with the league. We call our team owners governors of the team and alternate governors. So I think it makes sense. It makes no sense. It makes no fucking sense at all. As a matter of fact, it's glaringly obvious that you are overcorrecting and creating a problem where one didn't exist. Here's what he goes on to say. He says, as I said, I don't want to overreact, but I, Adam Silver, commissioner of the NBA, I don't want to overreact, but I'm sensitive to it. And I think to the extent that teams are moving away from the term, I think that we're going to stick with using governor. Governor. I don't know, man. Back in slave times, governors seemed like, seems like that's not a good thing either. It's just stupid. Anyway, the Mavericks have a new governor. They have a guy named Patrick Dumont. He's the owner of the team. He's the governor. Patrick Dumont showing up for the Mavs game yesterday. I thought this was pretty great. You'll see this. This got to feel bad. Let's watch this. Here we go. This is Mavs governor. This dude right here, this dude, like, I fucking hate this guy who is sitting in front of me. So this is him, this big, stupid silver spoon doughboy. This is him. And everybody hates him and everybody's booing him. And it's, I don't know if you've ever been to a Mavericks game when the big shooters show up for their courtside seats, as Mavs governor is doing right here. But everybody can see him. It's you can see the big celebrities who are walking in. So yeah, so this guy's getting booed pretty hard. Let's break this down from the beginning though. Let's look at the responses of some of the people that he walks by, because he's smiling. He's like, ha, I'm a billionaire. Fuck you, poor people. It's a dopey ass look. All right, let's look at some of these faces here. What's this guy doing? What's going on with this guy? This little Chinese guy here. Sorry, Asian guy. But he's Chinese, I can tell. Chinese guy was like, bleh. What's this guy doing? Is this guy talking shit? He's walking right past him. He's talking shit. Yeah, he is. Look at him. He even followed him. He's like, fuck that guy. Like right to his face. It's fun being a fan. That's him. He's talking. What is this guy doing? Who is this little rich kid with courtside seats? I don't know who the fuck this kid is, but somehow he's kissing ass, or he seems to be kissing ass to the owner of the team while everybody else in the building is booing him. This dude does not look happy to be sitting right behind the owner of the Mavericks. So who's this guy? So are these like two friends that he brought to the game? Like he's like, yeah, man, come see my basketball team. I don't know if you know, I'm the governor of the Mavericks. I don't know this guy. This guy walked right out of an Ozempic ad wearing his cool jazz guy hat. Look at him. I'm showing up to the game. I'm wearing my cool jazz guy hat. I don't play an instrument. I just, I want people to think because I'm black and I'm musical. I don't know who this guy is. It's awkward. It's very awkward. Everybody hates you. Well, he doesn't seem to mind. All right, there you go. That's Patrick Dumont, Mavs governor. That guy. Patrick Dumont booed at Mavs game. The governor thing bothers me, man. It's you don't do anything of heft. You don't do anything. We don't make any real changes, but we do all of these very surfacey kind of things that we're all expected to just suddenly accept. Oh, wait a second. Who's the owner of the team? You mean the governor? No, I mean, who owns the team? Yes, you mean the governor of the NBA franchise. We're all just expected to pretend like this is a normal conversation. It's not. It's a team owner. You've changed the name because you're worried that somebody who would never in a million years be offended by this because they make $10 million a year, league minimum or whatever it is. No, but we're going to call it governor. We're going to overcorrect. It doesn't really bother me, but you know who it bothers? The easily bothered. You know who the easily bothered are? Your dad. Your dad who sits there watching Fox News every night drinking. That's the people who it really gins up, and we don't need to gin up those people. We need to stop with this little ticky-tack stuff because we don't need those people ginned up any more than they already are. All right, let's keep going. Patrick Dumont, Mav stuff. What else do we have here? We got a couple of videos here we're going to run through as we end the game. Oh, no, we're not. No, we're not. I like this. Oh, here we go. Restaurants. Do you guys like restaurants? I don't get to go out I don't go out to dinner. I was trying to think of the last time I was at a nice restaurant. The last nice restaurant I went to was Buca de Beppo. And I don't even know if that's a nice restaurant. It's not Denny's, you know. It's like it's not fancy, but that was the last place I went out to dinner. Like 2 years ago, I went to Bob's for a steak. I was with Ed from Radio Misfits. I do not go to restaurants, man. I don't go to restaurants. Do you know that I've never taken my son out to a nice dinner? Never. We have never gone to a nice restaurant where we sat down and had a nice dinner. Closest we came was we were traveling once, and the hotel we were staying at had a nice restaurant. It was the only place open, so we ate there, but that's the closest. And it's not for any, like, you know, sad reason or anything. It's just my kid doesn't like nice restaurants. He likes taco joints and hamburger places, and I'm always like, yeah, that's fine. I don't need to take you to a nice restaurant. But at some point, I'm going to have to go and have a fine dining experience with my 15-year-old son. Never done that. But we've got a list here, and this is a real list. This is a Yelp list. This isn't like from some travel magazine that only a bunch of snooty rich people participate. This is Yelp. Yelp does their annual list of the best restaurants in America. And guess what? And it's cool because it's Yelp, because it's all done by people and the reviews and the people who actually go to these restaurants. Dallas got some places on this list, the top 100. All right, maybe some of these are restaurants that you're familiar with. And they're not all fancy fine dining places. You know, some of them are actually, you know, like a burger places and stuff. There's one place right around here I can't wait to try. Gonna have to get more tips before I can go and try this chicken restaurant here in the Design District that made the list. But Dallas restaurants on Yelp's 2025 top 100 places to eat in America. All right, restaurants, we got a bunch of them. All right, here, let's see. Where are the restaurants? All right, number 32. That's the highest ranking Dallas restaurant on the list. Number 32. Number 32 is a place in Plano called Ibisu Robata and Sushi. I looked it up because I like sushi. It's on 15th Street, 15th just off 75. E-B-E-S-U. I don't know what that spells. What does that spell, guys? E-B-E-S-U. Ibisu. The next word is Robata. I got that. Robata. Ibisu, Robata, and Sushi in Plano. There you go. It's got to be the best sushi by, you know, just breaking this down. That would mean it's the best sushi restaurant, according to Yelp, in Dallas, because it's the highest ranking one. 32, there you have Plano, 15th Street. Ibisu, Robata, and Sushi. Number 32 on Yelp's best restaurants. Number 51. Now, this is the one I'm going to absolutely try. Number 51, Mike's Chicken in Dallas. Mike's Chicken. You guys know Mike's Chicken? I don't know. Here, look at this. This is where it is. Look at this place. I can get behind this. Oh, I'm going to show you this place. This is what I mean when, you know, it's a list of restaurants that we could actually go to. It ain't like, this is a 5-star Michelin with a 2-year waiting list. You know, let's see where Mike's Chicken is. So the first place was on 15th Avenue in Plano, just off 75. All right, so now let's look at Mike's. All right, here we go. See where Mike's Chicken is. Because it's in kind of a sketch neighborhood. So not sketch. I think it's kind of the gayborhood, but also the sketchy hood, you know. All right, so here we go. Where's Mike's? So I've totally lost Mike's. Mike's is somewhere in here. Yeah, no, don't know why I just decided to go. There we go. Mike's Chicken. All right, let's go in here. I like a good chicken place, man. And you know why? You want to know why I'm always looking for a good chicken place here? Because I think Babe's is overrated. You know, that Babe's chicken place, everybody's like, Babe's chicken, Babe's chicken. I'm like, nah, man, that shit seems kind of, I've been there. It ain't great. It's fine. It's good. It's good fried chicken. It is top tier fried chicken. I'll give you that for Babe's, but I'm not crazy about it. Like there's a chicken place that I grew up with that I think has the best chicken, and you know, Brown's. Anybody in the Midwest? Brown's chicken. I love Brown's. So I'm looking for something that's good, and I can't find any good chicken. So here we go, Mike's Chicken. All right, so we're looking at this here. It says JR Coin Laundry and Mike's Chicken. That means it's probably good chicken, man. Why? Because if it's in like a shitty place and it's sharing a spot with a laundromat, you know that place is good. That place is good. And it's about to get really, like, people will discover it in 10 years and there'll be 50 of them all over. I always say, when I'm traveling like through Texas, through the middle of nowhere, and you stop at a gas station and they're selling something at that gas station, whether it's, fried chicken or, smoked brisket, get it. Because it might be the best you've ever had. It might just be some grandma in the back making some badass shit. That's what I think Mike's Chicken is. So here we go, Mike's Chicken. I got to try Mike's Chicken. Mike's Chicken is on Maple. Let's see where it is. This is Maple and I don't know. What is this? Look at us driving around Dallas. All right, so like Maple and Douglas. There you go. Mike's Chicken. Number 2 on the list of best restaurants in Dallas as rated by Yelp. Yelp has put out their top 100 restaurants in America. Dallas has a couple on the list. We talked about number 32 off 15th Street in Plano, Ibisu, Robata, and Sushi. We talked about number 51, Mike's Chicken, right there, Douglas and Maple in Dallas. Number 76. This is in Carrollton. More fried chicken. All right. Number 76, Carrollton, Texas. Yorien Korean Fried Chicken and Yori Shop of Carrollton. Wow, that's a big sign. You gotta have a big sign to fit all of that in there. Yorien Korean Fried Chicken and Yori Shop of Carrollton. Got a question about you Koreans. In your fried chicken. How did Koreans get so good at tacos and fried chicken? You know I'm not lying. There are Korean fried chicken places everywhere. There are Korean taco places everywhere. And it's always good. It's so good. On, I think it's Greenville. Greenville roundabout, Greenville and SMU Boulevard, something like that. Greenville and something like that. I don't know. On the SMU, there's a place called Jollibee. You ever heard of Jollibee? Jollibee is like the Kentucky Fried Chicken of Seoul, South Korea. Jollibee is a fast food fried chicken chain from South Korea, and it's awesome. It's really good. It's like, wow. So how did the Koreans get so good at tacos and fried chicken? Anyway, number 76, Yorien Korean Fried Chicken and Yori Shop in Carrollton. That's number 76. I ain't going there. Is that in the part of Carrollton that's like Chinatown? It's like all I don't have anything against it. Stuff doesn't look clean, right? Like everything looks kind of dirty. I've been like in that area. I don't know. Moving on. Anyway, number 76. If you like Korean fried chicken, Yorien Korean Fried Chicken and Yori Shop in Carrollton. I'm sticking with Jollibee on Greenville. Number 82. This one's a little bit far from me, but I imagine it's worth the trip. Number 82. We're going out to the Trophy Club out there by Texas Motor Speedway, right? Trophy Club out there. Trophy Club, the original Roy Hutchins barbecue. Number 82, the 82nd best restaurant in America, according to Yelp and Yelp reviews. The original Roy Hutchins barbecue in Trophy Club. There you go. All right, now number 88, this is the last one. This one I'm really interested in. This is the one that I saw on the list and I went, I'd like to go there. And then I went, oh, wait, I don't go to nice restaurants anymore. This is a place, number 88 on the list. It's right here in Dallas. It's called the Mayor's House. The Mayor's House. Do you know about this? Do you know about this? Let's check out where this is. The Mayor's House in Dallas. Let's see what kind of food they got. First of all, let's see where it is. I think this is over in like maybe Oak Cliff. Let's see. All right. Actually, where is this? Is this like off like Fort Worth Boulevard nonsense? Oh, no, it's okay. So it's Zhang and Davis. All right. So it's right here, the Mayor's House. This, let's go down there. Let's check out what this looks like. Oh, so it's just like a regular house? That's kind of weird. Boop. All right, the Mayor's House. All right, is that it? Or is... Oh, that's it. There you go. Oh, look at that. That looks darling. That looks good. Mediterranean restaurant. Mediterranean? Like, so like Greek? So maybe I get some good... All right, I want to go to the Mayor's House. Although as I'm looking at it, it says the price tag is between $30 and $50. So I will not be going to the Mayor's House. But they say it's a very good restaurant. Because that's on Zhang Boulevard over there in that part of town, if you're familiar. All right, there you go. Dallas, well represented on the Yelp list of best restaurants. Let's see. What else do we have here? Let's keep rolling. Let's keep rolling. Oh, did you guys see this? Okay, so I don't know if this is real or not, but it's crazy stupid, and that's what we do here. We like crazy stupid. Hey, just an aside. All morning long, I've been looking at these two astronauts who are trapped up there on the space station for like the last 10 years. Remember these two? We forget. They went up back when like Obama was president, and they're still up there, and we keep promising to bring them back. Anyway, apparently there's some news on them coming back, and it's not news at all. They're like, good news for the stranded astronauts on the space station. They'll be coming back a good 10 days earlier than it had been promised. Remember, they went up over the summer. Like, they went up over the summer, and then they're like, we're going to get you back in 2 weeks. And they're like, nope, can't get you back in 2 weeks. Then they're like, it's going to take a month. You're going to be up there a month. And then it was like, nope, going to be longer than a month. Then they finally said, yeah, it's going to be like after the election and after the new year. And then it was, it's going to be like not until spring of 2025, right? So they've announced that they're gonna get them in good news. It's gonna be 10 days earlier than they originally thought. So they've been there for like 200 days, and they keep showing this with her Medusa hair. Have you seen this? Like they keep showing the female astronaut. I think her name is Suni something. They keep showing her, and she's got hair, but there's zero gravity, so her hair is just like, it's crazy. I don't know why I was distracted by it, because they just showed her. They just showed old astronaut Medusa head again, and I'm like, whoa, that's tired of seeing that. Back to this story. Don't know if this is real. Have no idea if this is. We live in an era where we can believe nothing that we see, but it's still fun. It's still interesting. So apparently, we're gonna pretend this is real. Even though I got a little bit of a story for you at the end of it where you're going to go, oh, so it's not real. Anyway, we're going to pretend it's real for the beginning of this story. So after the Super Bowl on Sunday held in New Orleans, everybody went out to Bourbon Street having a good time. People, Eagles fans celebrating, Kansas City fans probably a little bit upset. Well, two crossed paths. Pat Mahomes. Do we know who Pat Mahomes is? I'm not talking about Patrick. I'm talking about Pat Mahomes, former Major League Baseball player, father of Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Pat Mahomes was out there on Bourbon Street. And if you know anything about Patrick Mahomes, he's right at home on Bourbon Street. He doesn't take Uber. I think Pat Mahomes should probably take Uber more. I'd save him a few DUIs, as he's famous for getting. Anyway, Pat Mahomes, father of Patrick Mahomes, who, by the way, is a year younger than me. I'm like, Jesus, how old is this guy? So Pat Mahomes, former Major League Baseball pitcher, is out there on Bourbon Street, and he runs across John Rocker. That's right, Kenny Powers himself, John Rocker, disgraced former Major League closer. Played for the Braves, played for the Rangers for like a cup of cup. He played for the Rangers for like a couple of months, right? And then he was down on Cedar Springs and some gay people walked by and he was like, look at them gays. Or he said something like, I just remember Rocker was here for like 2 weeks and he like just couldn't control himself. They'll go to the neighborhood. Rocker, somebody tell Rocker to not go to the neighborhood if he's going to be here in Dallas. It's just not a place for him. He's just not going to feel comfortable. Anyway, I'd totally forgotten that John Rocker was a thing until apparently he and Pat Mahomes crossed paths on Sunday night after the Super Bowl. Is this the video? Yeah, let's show the video. They got into a fight. That's right. John Rocker and Patrick Mahomes' dad got into a fight on Bourbon Street in the hours following the Eagles decimating the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, again, let's watch it. I'll point these out here from the beginning. We'll see who everybody is. All right. So this guy right here in the red, the hoodie, right? He looks like a teenager. This guy, that's Pat Mahomes. That is Patrick Mahomes' 53-year-old father. Okay. This is Pat Mahomes. All right. Here comes Rocker. All right. This is John Rocker. I would just cue the Hulk Hogan Real American music. He's the real Kenny Powers walking in here now. So John Rocker is now approaching Pat Mahomes. Again, red hoodie is Pat Mahomes, and this is John Rocker. John Rocker will now approach Pat Mahomes. Let's watch this. Oh, shit. Let me just say about Rocker. Rocker looks roided up. He's got a roid build. He's roided up. John Rocker is doing roids, I think, allegedly, from my eye. I'm not an expert. Oh, shit. Other than I played sports in the 80s at the high school level and, I know a little something. Make them stars. These two. They're watching John Rocker and Pat Mahomes go at it like a couple of drunken frat boys in the middle of Bourbon Street. Just, the eye test. I'm thinking John Rocker would beat the fuck out of Pat Mahomes. It just looks like John Rocker would outpower him, outmuscle him. All right, let's watch it again. All right, so now let me tell you what's happening here. Apparently, they exchanged words. Apparently, John Rocker said something. They know each other because they're former Major League Baseball players. They didn't play on the same team or anything like that, but their careers did overlap. They played at the same time. They know each other. And apparently John Rocker said something. This is the story that I'm getting from Barstool. Apparently John Rocker made a joke about the Chiefs getting their asses handed to them, and Pat Mahomes Sr. doesn't have a sense of humor, and he's very upset, and Pat Mahomes stormed out of the bar, and that's what apparently we're seeing. This is Pat Mahomes being a little baby because John Rocker made a joke about the Chiefs losing, and now John Rocker comes out of the bar, and according to Barstool, again, and they've been framing this, according to Barstool, Rocker comes out of the bar and is like, dude, I was just kidding. Dude, I was just kidding. And Pat Mahomes was like, fuck you, man. And apparently it's Pat Mahomes who escalated this. So knowing that, let's watch it again. So again, John Rocker has just said something insulting about the Kansas City Chiefs in the bar. Pat Mahomes takes offense. Pat Mahomes walks out. It's now been, a minute or so. And John Rocker is going to walk outside onto Bourbon Street to try and apologize to Pat Mahomes to see if things can calm down. That is the story as presented by Barstool Sports. Rocker. He's apologizing. He's like, hey, man, I was just kidding. And then he appears to come and offer his hand. It appears like John Rocker is offering a handshake. And Pat Mahomes swipes his hand away. All right, so now we go. Big roided up dumb guy. He's feeling vulnerable because he's saying sorry, and then you swipe his hand away. Of course you're going to get the, let's go, motherfucker. I mean, that's how these people go from 0 to 60. That's what Royd does. So Rocker's here trying to be nice. Again, probably feeling vulnerable because I'm sure John Rocker considers himself an alpha male, and alpha males don't apologize. So, he's feeling a little vulnerable, and then his vulnerability is stomped on and shooed away by Pat. That's the real thing. These are grown men who cannot manage their emotional responses. That's all it is. They're big babies. In simple peasant class words, they're big fucking crybabies. Because this is bullshit. This is why, and I'll tell you the rest of the story. This is where I think John Rocker could have bum rushed him and gotten through these two guys, but no, John Rocker is using those two guys to sort of be props so that he can act like, I want to get at him. Let me at him. And he's using it. He could just go, get the fuck out of my way. Just, oh shit. Let me at him. Oh shit. All right, so as I say, this story and the video and all that was broken by Barstool Sports yesterday, and got a lot of traction. A lot of people are like, "What's going on with John Rocker and Pat Mahomes?" Well, it turns out that they weren't. Barstool isn't being all of that secretive about what this is, because earlier in the day, Dave Portnoy from Barstool just randomly tweeted, hey, just set up a Barstool does these fight nights, Rough and Rowdy or something like that, right? So hours before this video was released or whatever, Dave Portnoy said that he had just, and this was like Saturday night or Sunday morning or something when he put this out. He said that he had just gotten John Rocker and Pat Mahomes to agree to fight at the next so-and-so. So he just tweeted that out. And if you'd seen that when he tweeted that out, you'd be like, why the fuck are these guys fighting? They don't have any kind of beef. And then a couple of hours later, this video comes out. And of course, it's being pushed by Barstool and framed by Barstool and all of that. This is a work. This is a work. The viral video is supposed to get us to all think that John Rocker and Pat Mahomes have some kind of historic beef, when in fact they don't. They're just looking to, get a little pay-per-view money and, be famous again for one night whenever this thing airs. All right, so there you go. That's the sordid tale of Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes, not Patrick. Pat Mahomes and John Rocker. Aaron Rodgers. Here's another one. Aaron Rodgers is apparently not going to be going back to the New York Jets. We've known this since Sunday. I think Shefty broke this on Sunday morning, the Super Bowl Sunday, that the New York Jets had basically told Aaron Rodgers, yeah, we don't want you. They're moving on from him. A couple of actually, I guess they had demands, right? Isn't this the 2 points that we're all talking about here? The Jets and Aaron Glenn, the new head coach of the Jets, they said that Aaron Rodgers must be present if he is to be the quarterback next year moving forward. He must be present at all team activities. Now, what does this mean? Was Aaron Rodgers just, was he Jefferson from Fast Times at Ridgemont High? Was he just flying in for games? I mean, why was Aaron Rodgers? Is that a problem? And then they also said that if he wants to be on the team next year, he can't do the Pat McAfee show every week, because he goes on the Pat McAfee show and he says stupid shit, and then it turns into a whole thing, and then it becomes a distraction in the locker room. It's very understandable. It's very understandable why a team wouldn't want that kind of high-profile distraction every fucking week from their polarizing quarterback. So Aaron Glenn was like, you're going to be at every team activity and you're not going to do Pat McAfee anymore. And apparently Aaron Rodgers people were like, nope, we're done. We're gone. So he's no longer No longer a New York Jet. Fine. I hate Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I despise him. Before I even knew what this arrogant piece of shit was all about, I hated him because he was the Packers quarterback and he was a total D-bag. But now I've gotten to know him a little bit. I mean, I watched, okay, I didn't watch all of it. I watched like a little bit of that Aaron Rodgers Netflix documentary and I couldn't get through it. I'm like, oh no, this guy is an arrogant piece of shit. This is a fucking, I've gotten everything I've ever wanted in life and everybody bows down before me. He's a dick. He thinks he's smart because he surrounds himself with people who he pays who tell him, you're so smart. And, you know, nobody ever pushes back on anything because when you're Aaron Rodgers and you've created this little world, nobody pushes back on you on anything. It's like Elvis. Elvis had a lot of bad ideas and Elvis executed all of those bad ideas. And all of his friends were like, that's crazy, King. You're crazy, man. You know, it's like, this is what happens. Aaron Rodgers is a piece of shit. His own family doesn't even want to have anything to do with him. That ought to tell you all you need to know. So if he wants to be done with the NFL, hey, Aaron Rodgers, don't let the NFL door hit you where the good Lord splits you. Oh, here we got this. This is some video from yesterday. I talked about the story, Motley Crue's airplane. Vince Neil's airplane crashed into another plane while landing at Scottsdale Airport. And I was like, I don't even know if this is a big story. There's video. I can't believe I didn't have the video of this yesterday. There is video. And of course there would be video. It's an airport. This happened on the runway. There are security videos everywhere. So let's watch the video of Vince Neil's motley plane piloted by a motley crew, apparently. Well, actually, no, it's probably not their fault. Now that we see it, it was described. So Vince Neil's private jet, which I always think Vince Neil shouldn't have a private jet. I'm like, why does Vince Neil have a private jet? And then I go, Motley Crue was pretty fucking big. Motley Crue really was private jet big. I mean, they seem like dirtbags and like they seem like you just want to forget about them from the 80s, or at least I do. I'm like, I just want to forget about them. Just they're not Guns N' Roses. If we're gonna remember one band from that genre, let's have it be Guns N' Roses. Let's not worry about Motley Crue. They were silly. They were carnival kids music. That's all they were. But they're Learjet people and deserved. They sold a lot of albums. I was more like into the Scorps, you know, if I was going to be like into like some harder stuff. I like the Scorps. I liked Van Halen. I liked Guns N' Roses. I didn't like any of the dudes wearing makeup. I didn't like any of the, we used to call them pussy bands. We didn't like any of those guys, you know, your Warrants, your Poisons, your Motley Crues, you know, they were very stupid. If we were going to rock, we were going to listen to, the Cult. The Cult was a big one that we liked. Scorps. Big Scorps. Van Halen was huge. Van Halen, AC/DC. You know those. You know, dudes who could rock without putting on mascara. Like a bunch of, you know what I mean? No. You go ahead, because I know there's a lot of you alpha hard guys who still act like, you know, you're a big Motley Crue fan. Motley Crue was awesome back then. No, they weren't. Normal straight dudes knew how gay that shit was, and you guys were just all about it. Let's tease our hair and put on mascara. Motley Crue. You act like, you know, that was all that was happening. That was not all that was happening. The Scorpions weren't doing that. Van Halen wasn't doing that. AC/DC wasn't doing that. You guys just liked a bunch of femmy weird bands. No, but we're going to kick your ass because we're Motley Crue. Hold on, let me apply my lipstick first. Yeah, dudes shouldn't be wearing makeup because I know Jeff Ballard is a big fan of dudes wearing makeup. Jeff's like, I don't got a problem with it. I'm like, I do. I'm tired of the feminization of our boys, okay? Makeup. Dudes do not wear makeup. Let's not start this. Let's not have this be a thing. It was a thing back in the French days and, you know, back in the powdered wig era. We're not bringing it back, people. Okay, stop defending Motley Crue. Point is this. Motley Crue had enough success where they got their own airplanes, a private jet. This is Vince Neil's private jet landing at Scottsdale Airport. All right, so you see that. That's the first frame. You see the landing gear collapses, okay? Right there. The landing gear has just collapsed, and now it's careening out of control. All right, so now, this is like the second frame, right? So we came out of the first frame, and now it's entering this frame. You can see this plane here. This is the plane that it collides with. The landing gear has collapsed on Vince Neil's Motley Crue plane. So let's see what happens here. People died. Wild video, huh? Jeez. I mean, the landing gear collapsed, right? I mean, we saw it. We saw it in the thing. They landed the plane. The landing gear collapsed. Probably old Vince. Probably Vince has probably like got a whole stack of bills for plane maintenance on his desk, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I'll get to it." And never got to it. Landing gear, not my responsibility, man. I hate Vince Neil. I don't know if you remember, we once at 105.3, we had Vince Neil play a concert for us, our like 3rd anniversary party or something. It was Vince Neil, not Motley Crue, just Vince Neil. It was Vince Neil and Living Color. Living Color opened, and then it was Vince Neil, and it was fun. So I spent all day hanging out with those guys, or not Vince Neil, because Vince Neil didn't want to have anything to do with anybody. He was superstar, rock star. And then the only time that he said anything, it was like some complaint where he threatened to leave. He was a jackass. Vince Neil was a jackass. You know who wasn't? Vernon Reid. Vernon Reid, the guitar player for Living Color. That dude was really nice. That dude was really cool. Didn't really spend any time with Corey Glover. Corey Glover's the lead singer of in Living Color. I believe he's Danny Glover's son. Didn't really. But Vernon Reid was very nice. Very nice. Vernon Reid was looking for tips on barbecue. He was talking. That was a small. Just like, man, I want to give me some barbecue. I'm in town for the next day and a half. I gotta give me some barbecue. That's how he talked. Very Patrick Mahomesy. Bet you didn't know that. Bet you didn't know Vernon Reid had a Patrick Mahomes voice. At least he did back in 2004. All right, guys. I think that's gonna do. Oh no, it's not. I got one more thing I want to show you. Oh yeah. Anderson Cooper did something funny last night, and I just happened to be watching it. I'm sitting there eating my dinner, and Anderson Cooper like says this thing, and I'm like, wait, what? What did he just say? It was so shocking because you never see this on TV. This was Chris Sununu. Chris Sununu, who's the Chris Sununu, who is the governor of not of the Mavericks. He is the governor of an actual. And they're talking about all the Trump changes and all this kind of stuff. So here, check this out. This was last night on Anderson Cooper. It's very, very out of character for old AC. Here you go. Just watch.
Was it strange to see?
It was surreal, but I got to tell you, I know what you're not showing here. Musk gave 7 specific examples off the top of his head of where the corruption and fraud were. I know you didn't play the clips. He was talking about a contractor that had a 3-month contract. He was paid for 20 years. He was talking about welfare benefits that were being paid to someone that was technically 150 years old. He was talking about line items in the Treasury that had no justification.
There's no any actual, he doesn't present any actual evidence.
Well, he's standing there in the Oval Office. Do you expect him to come in with 10,000 pages? And I have to be clear, to complain about this administration about transparency, when this president takes open questions on a daily basis, yet Joe Biden didn't show up for a press conference this 6 months, is insane. Well, these guys are being extremely transparent. They don't have to sit there and take the questions, but they do. It's all on the website. It's all out there.
It's not transparency to say
by the way, I always like to make sure
that have no factual background.
I always like to make sure we do this. Whenever Jeffrey Toobin shows up on CNN, that's Jeffrey Toobin. He is the guy who is very, very seriously debating this point with the governor of New Hampshire, Chris Sununu. This guy was off of CNN for an entire year. They made him, you can't be on CNN anymore. You know why? Because during COVID, he was involved in a Zoom meeting where he was jerking off this guy right now, who we all are supposed to take seriously. Oh, shh, everybody be quiet. Jeffrey Toobin speaking. We're supposed to take him seriously. This guy was masturbating like 2 years ago. This guy was masturbating on a Zoom call between him and some of his New York, I think it was the New Yorker, a bunch of New Yorker editors and some other reporters. They're all in the Zoom call. And he thinks that he's done. They're like, okay, Jeffrey, we're going to let you go. Thank you, Jeffrey. And he just, I guess he thought he turned his mic off and he thought he turned his camera off. And he just started jerking off right there on camera in front of all the people that he works for. This guy who is demanding to be taken seriously right now on CNN. I swear to God, for all of the things that people complain about CNN, this is the most egregious. You think we all know what this guy is. He's a pervert who can't not, he's an old man. What is he doing? He needs to jerk off. Somebody that he worked with at the New Yorker, he wanted to jerk off to. And he's back on TV. He's back. He was gone for a year, and then they're like, let's bring Jeffrey Toobin back. And then suddenly they start sliding him back in, and nobody says anything. And every time I see him, I'm like, this guy was jerking off on a Zoom call in front of his co-workers. He thought he was being sneaky. He thought he had... So let's listen to what this guy has to say, okay? All right. Just now that we know what his backstory is.
Have to sit there and take the questions, but they do. It's all on the website. It's all out there.
It's not transparency to say things that have no factual background. I mean, to say we're cutting, we've found $1 billion or $1 trillion in waste with no specifics, that's just talk. That's not transparency.
It's 23 days in here, guys. 23 days. You were talking about 2.3 billion that was saved last year.
All right, so here we
These
go.
guys are
Hold on,
saving 2.3 billion a day.
Right,
hold on. All right, so sorry, this is a much longer clip than I thought. All right, so this is really all we need here. Pay attention from now.
But it's incredible.
That's what they're saying. But
where's
the
proof? You're not going to be satisfied till he shows up with 10,000 pages.
But 10,000 pages.
Yeah.
He's giving very specific things,
yes,
but he's not actually giving any evidence of that.
It's all going to come, because what they also said was, if we have to go to Congress, we'll go to Congress.
Right,
we'll show where it is.
Some of the details that have come out, like the $59 million spent on luxury hotels, it's actually not.
You're talking about the FEMA money that was abused for migrants? That was.
Yeah.
FEMA money for migrants, that's okay now?
No, I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying it's okay. Don't put words in my mouth.
So would you stop that? Would you stop that process?
Don't be a dick. What I'm saying is the portrayal.
Don't be a dick. That is how we have lowered the standards. This is how we all end up in the idiocracy. It's not going to happen overnight. It is just one by one, the standards get lowered. Began with presidents saying the F word publicly, right? We'd never heard that. Trump is like, look at this fucking guy, right? So lowering the standards. Now we got Anderson Cooper on CNN calling an invited guest, a governor of a state in this country, a dick. I both love it and I'm like, oh, fuck. Can't we have one place where there's civility? Let's watch it one more time.
By him is
that was abused for migrants. That was.
Yeah.
FEMA money for migrants, that's okay now?
No, I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying it's okay. Don't put words in my mouth.
So would you stop that? Would you stop that process?
All right, there you go. I worry about that stuff. I think there needs to be a certain level of decorum for us to be able to get real information. If people are just, he was talking to him like they were in a bar, like they were buddies in a bar. And to Anderson Cooper's credit, and I like Anderson Cooper. I do. I've always liked him. I don't have a problem with him at all. To Anderson's, he's easy to make fun of, but I don't have a problem with him. To Anderson Cooper's credit, he did at the end of that segment. He said, look, I just want to stop. Hey man, I'm sorry. He apologized. He's like, I was rude to you. I shouldn't have said that. And Chris Sununu, for his point, was a dude about it. He was like, Anderson, I grew up with 5 brothers. You think that's a problem for me? You called me a dick? Anyway, very interesting last night on CNN. Very interesting. Anderson Cooper just lowering the standards again. See, now it's being normalized. Now it's totally normal to hear a guy on TV call someone a dick or whatever. We're used to seeing that on YouTube. We're used to seeing that but not on CNN. Yeah. Anyway, here we are. Yeah, here we are. Barney says it's fast, better, to appoint a blue ribbon commission to spend $8 billion and 3 years to write a report, and then nothing happens. I don't know what that's. I don't know what that's in context to. I don't know, Barney. I love you, pal, but I have no idea what you're talking about. All right, let's get out of here. How about that eagle? That eagle's pretty cool, isn't it? I saw that this morning. I'm like, oh, I got a new backdrop. Yeah, I got a cool ass eagle and flag. All right. Tip the show if you can, guys. We have no money. You crust the bread tonight. This is how we run. You tip me like I'm your bartender. You tip me like I'm your your valet driver, whatever it is. Drop a little something. I'll leave it up there. It's been up there all day. Yeah, you're not gonna tip. I know. I get it. That's all right. That's all right. It's all right. I know. I get it. I get it. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll do this again tomorrow. Tomorrow at noon. More, more of what we do every day for like 3 years now. I love you guys, and I gotta go. That's it.